Welcome back to the Bedouin Banter podcast. I'm your host, Khaled. This is, of course, the podcast where it matters. What matters? Nobody knows. We figure it out as we go through the trending topics of the day here in the studio with Bedouin Banter. The trending topics that we cover from our unique Middle Eastern perspective. And, of course, the cross-cultural mix. I'm surrounded today by a special cast of friends, some returning figures, some old schoolers as well. I'm happy to introduce, of course, Dr. Hazaifa Sadiqi. Not really a doctor, okay? Don't get us into trouble. But he is Dr. Hazaifa in the order of their recent appearance. Thank you for coming back, sir.
Thank you.
Of course, we have Mike Donovan, Mike D, the big Navy D. And joining him on the right-hand side is Sergio Halabi, the podcast host of the Paradigm Shift podcast. Check it out yourself if you want your mind exploded, if you want to expand your horizons. It's the podcast that matters as well.
Thank you.
Not the most, but it matters.
A lot.
It might be after today, though.
Watch it. Yeah, exactly.
We can't take it out. It is the live chat. It is live stream. I haven't done this in a very long time. How do you guys feel? You like all the colors?
Honestly, all the pressure's on you, so I'm
Right?
good. I'm good.
Thank you. Because no, everybody else has signed release forms. Everything's on me today. It is a special day. The theme of the day is going to be, of course, pandering, the corporate pandering, the social pandering, the pandering to everybody's needs, whether it's cross-cultural or otherwise, and how it's affected the region, how it might affect the region in the future. But before we start any of that, I just wanted to say this last month isn't just this month. I mean, it's not just Pride. It has also been my birthday. June 10th.
Take pride in your birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy
Thank
birthday,
you so much. That's not the biggest celebration because I found a big fact today for somebody that has been my rival for the last year on the podcast. Apparently, congratulations and happy birthday to Xi Jinping, who was actually born on June 15th, 1953, now age 68. So congratulations, Xi.
I have a question. Can I parcel him through AliExpress like a jar of honey?
You can. You can try to get Winnie his dough, his honey, his mead, whatever he needs. Because after today, we're going to need to bribe him continuously. There's going to be a special
Chinese
podcast.
mead.
Right, guys. I know that we've talked about this issue only in a brief forms, and we didn't really get into it. I wanted to get into it because it's one that is really impacted what I consider to be the cross-cultural scene in a unique way. We've seen companies, whether it be Pride, whether it be movies, whether it be anything else, kind of want to, with their corporate comms, their PRs, their marketing, actually relate to everybody all at once. But the global culture that exists today, is that even freaking possible? We see John Cena.
Apologist.
We know what he's done. People have called him the cuck. I'm going to try to defend him today, even though I hate what he's done.
Oh, wow.
Right?
That's going to be interesting. Wow.
I'm going to say that he's done something that is a very difficult thing to pull off, which is speak Chinese and give a convincing apology, apparently. I don't know what he means by the apologies. He says he's sorry to China. Sorry that he said that Taiwan is a country.
Yeah.
He doesn't say why that's a bad thing, though. Do you think he even knows?
Because that wasn't in the script. That's why he can't. He doesn't know why.
It's because he delivered his apology too fast and too furiously.
Was it?
No.
Just was.
Wrong movie.
The puns are too
Is it the wrong movie? I'm pretty sure he's
It's
in
the
there.
right one.
It's the right one.
Oh, is it?
He's in Fast 9.
That's
or
the movie he was
whatever it is.
promoting.
F9? I don't know what it,
It was
whatever
for
it
that
is.
one, yeah.
Fast 9. Yeah.
He basically probably said in Chinese, "Listen, guys, family's everything. You're my family."
It is funny. I'm not even joking. China is like all about the 9-dash line. So
Yeah.
Well,
9-dash line.
there you go.
Conspiracy, perhaps.
Someone's connecting the dots. Nice.
I know that the biggest market for Fast is in China. So that's
Definitely.
me defending him right now.
Yeah.
No,
I'm telling
100%.
you. It's insane, apparently. There and here as well. Like, I heard from a friend of ours who was on the show, Adi Fingers, who was talking to me about the movie scene in Bahrain before that episode got destroyed. He was saying, rest in peace. If you want it badly, just tell me. Tell me in the comments.
Resting in pieces.
It was too fast and too furious.
Make sure, tell us in the comments. Let us know if you feel like you want to see that episode. Let me know. And also, don't forget, we have a Q&A at the end of this and a special segment. Keep the comments coming. Keep the questions coming because we'll answer them at the end of the show. But that being said, Adi said that in the Middle East, as well as most of Asia, the dramas, the what is it called? Let's say the science fiction, the other kind of genres that are not really action oriented don't really do well in the Middle East. It's mostly the Fast and Furiouses, the Transformers, the things that are basically the Marvels,
the blockbusters.
But not just like American blockbusters that would be considered like Oscar winning.
No. Okay, so like mega franchises, like the franchise, like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter's.
Yeah, actually, Harry Potter, I think more than Lord of the Rings, but yeah.
But definitely. I mean, Oscar winners usually they do very poorly usually in
just generally.
Box office. Like it's a thing where
that's why they get an Academy Award. It's
like a reconciliation. Like
I mean, how many?
It's a pity prize. They're just like sorry.
Like
are they pandering to the Hollywood?
They are.
Nice. That's what they're doing.
That's what they're doing.
I mean, everyone saw The Shape of Water, right?
Is that the M. Night Shyamalan?
Yeah, that was the one.
Billy Crystal,
Guillermo del Toro.
Is that the one the girl fucks a fish dude?
Yeah, the fish frog, fish stick. Yeah.
Why did she fuck the fish dude?
Because she likes fish sticks.
You like fish sticks? Khaled?
Why would you want that in your life?
Do you like fish sticks, Khaled?
Do
you like fish sticks, Khaled?
I don't get it.
Do you like putting fish sticks in your mouth, Khaled?
No, get away.
Ah.
I'm not doing Kanye, I'm doing Michael for some reason. I don't understand that movie. I didn't see it, but I thought it was interesting, I guess.
You know who also wouldn't understand it is also probably China, which is why it wasn't where it wasn't shown there.
But apparently the number of movies that do get shown there are
very
few.
Very, very few. That's why it's so important that John Cena apologized. Because there's like the Transformers movies. I saw a Transformers movie which had like just blatant Chinese product placement, and I was so confused. Like, why is this even here? It makes zero sense. And I Googled it, and I learned. That's the day I learned that there's only like 10 or so foreign movies from Hollywood that get shown in China each year.
Yeah,
and that's why it's such a big deal to them that it has to go over well because they're one of 10, and they pay like up the wazoo just to get it.
And they care so much about the Chinese market that they alter their posters. I don't know if you
know.
Yes. It's like mild censorship.
Exactly, like the Star Wars one, for example, which did not have. What's the
do they look
name?
like more Asian?
No,
Ren,
I'm talking...
Daisy Ridley.
No.
The black dude?
Yeah, the black dude.
Oh, I forgot his name.
Finn?
Yeah.
Finn. Okay, so he was removed.
Nobody knows the actor's name.
Yeah.
Oh, John.
Are you kidding me?
Exactly. Yeah.
He wasn't in it?
You can see the two posters, the
That's
one
hilarious.
that was international everywhere, including the US, and the one...
Guys, just because this is a live stream, we can't fact check anything, so...
Trust me.
But you can in the chat.
You can, exactly. So, we're bullshit as usual.
Pants on fire.
Taiwan's actually in Tatooine, so
I usually
check.
If I can, we have Red in studios helping us out, but today he's not here, so I'm just doing this by myself as a production. But if you can, go ahead with the chat, fact check, give us your questions. Don't forget, I see some people just joined the chat, and at the end of it, we'll give you the Q&A. But that's interesting. I didn't know that. That's a crazy one because I know they have a problem with the blacks in China. They don't like. They don't like.
Do they even exist in China?
Yeah,
like,
they do.
Like an actual...
Nigerians. I heard that there's a
big Nigerian contingent.
Nigerian community there apparently that work like expats, same as here.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Well, China.
Dude, Nigerians are everywhere, man.
Resourceful.
They're very resourceful. Yeah.
Do you know most successful immigrants in the States are Nigerians?
I don't doubt it for a second. Nigerian people are weirdly eloquent. And educated no matter what position they hold. They could be like a traffic attendant.
Yeah.
And they'll just be like the most eloquent people in the world.
Even my security guard, he just knows how to, like, I think charisma is part of the culture.
Literally, he stopped me at the gate and he's like, "Sir, do you know where you are going today?" He's like, "Well, I'm going to Khaled Dosri's." He's like, "Sir, can you please provide me with a cogent and complete address of the specific locations at which he will be situated?" He didn't say any of those things. But the point is, I felt like he said all of these things. I felt like he said it.
That's how charisma works.
That's exactly how charisma
works. Got all of that from a nod.
It was all silent.
I'll give you all my information.
I was ready, honestly. Yeah. I'm almost impressed. Like, I've never met a Nigerian when I was like, what do you do exactly? It's like, no, I get it.
Yeah, it's a difficult one to figure out sometimes why certain cultures are just so different from others. I don't know if are they French influenced?
I think they are. Way back when, I think so. I'm not. Again, fact check that, but I think so.
We can't claim this stuff.
I think it was actually it was Taiwanese at one point. So.
I'm gonna check one thing. Keep going, guys. I'm gonna check the camera.
Yeah,
So
actually, nobody told me that I'm wearing my mask like a turtleneck on my neck, so I'm about to like take this headphone off
I
too.
mean, I don't think
and,
anyone had noticed. Unless
I
you just
noticed.
mentioned
I
it.
felt. I can feel it.
Now it's like, yeah. It's
Yeah.
awkward.
No, but actually, that's actually another culture that's kind of like that. Like the Nigerians, to me, is like South Indians. I swear to God, man, South Indians are like, they're also super just resourceful and like workman, like anywhere.
They hustle.
Like there's just some random dude in every barad and cold store that you walk into. There'll be some South Indian gentleman there, and he'll speak like 10 languages. I'm like, how do you?
Hustling.
His accent may not be great in Arabic, but he understands every word that every local says to him. And I'm like, what? How? Where? And then he speaks Urdu. Oh my God, dude, it's impressive. Honestly, it really is.
I mean, you kind of need to do that, right? Like to kind of, stand out.
I get it.
It's hustling, basically.
But like, I
That's
couldn't do
good,
it.
yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying. So
It's impressive.
for sure.
I was gonna say, guys, we just lost one of the cameras that's pointing at you two.
Oh no.
I don't know why
Come on.
it's running fine over there. This is the first time something like this has happened.
Shit.
So yay! Every time I do a podcast episode, whether it be live or anything else,
It's
something
okay.
has to.
So more of the
fuck
focus is on me, basically.
up. But
Yes, actually.
Which is why this is even more important for me to
Hold
speak
up.
in the spotlight.
Hold up.
on,
I
yeah.
think I know what might have got. Here's my theory. Right, it is of course a celebration of some things pride because we are pandering here for June,
Taiwan's
and
having
we have a little bit of the rainbow effect going on here. And I think these guys are getting it up so much
Oh my
that freaking
God.
Batilko decided you guys have to go up the stream. You're just way too close, guys. I put them there on purpose.
We just put it all on Batelco, huh?
Yeah,
It's Batelco's
Five
fault.
it tells right
I'm gonna get sponsored. Never. Yeah. So, question for the Chinese thing. Getting back on that topic.
Yes.
What do we do when it comes to like I don't understand what China wants when it comes to their sensitivity. Like, what is happening when the smallest thing? It's not like you were telling me about Navy regulations. We're not going to get into that. But you guys represent, like you say, operations at sea, other things that would influence general politics. So you have to follow a specific protocol. But why do they fucking give a shit what John Cena says?
Oh.
In an obscure magazine.
I have a theory.
What?
Oh, was it in an obscure magazine? I didn't even know that.
It's an interview with a Taiwanese journalist who's like writing for some obscure website or blog or something.
First of all, clearly they're monitoring all internet traffic that's in Taiwan. Clearly, apparently,
and here.
no, but probably
Everywhere.
I don't think
It's
either.
a Huawei router right there.
Wow.
Camera 1 is down.
Wait, why is there a red dot in your forehead?
Oh my God, that got dark real quick.
Birthday, Jen. I said happy birthday. Fucking Winnie the Pooh,
Strike him
man.
down.
God damn
No, but
Winnie.
it's I swear, man, it's like those strict parents, when like and it's actually an understandable theory where it's like you can't let any one little thing go because if one thing becomes okay, the next thing becomes okay, the next thing becomes
agree.
okay.
I agree.
So it's just everything you absolutely protect with your like everything you have. That you don't insult the country, you don't suggest that any people that we're oppressing are independent, okay? You don't say that
None.
there's any camps of Uyghurs anywhere. You don't say
But
anything like
that's
that.
such a failed plan because they're trying to take everything around them. So, like, how do
why
you
would-
avoid
why
that
is that-
circumstance?
It's honestly, I think China just wasn't prepared because, like locally,
Yeah.
like YouTube doesn't exist in China, right?
Yeah.
So like they have it on lockdown locally, except for the mesh network that exists. But
they can get through it.
right, they can get through it. But my point is, they do a good job of controlling the narrative within the country.
Yeah.
I think they're now finally globalizing it, and like their plan is being realized of like their global position in the world stage.
Right.
And I don't think they're fully ready for how to fully control the narratives. And this is the way they're going about
They
it.
need
And-
to take the
but
lesson from
everyone's
us,
just
man.
everyone's pandering. Everyone's
Yeah.
just saying, "Oh, so sorry." So it's working.
But
I mean,
see, let's say that one. I don't want to cut you off here, Sergio, but it's like that one specifically. They say, it's John Cena mentioning Taiwan as a country. That's such a small gaffe. You know what I mean? Like Biden does that like 5 times a second.
Well-
We don't know what can go wrong from that. Now with the Nike thing, are you guys aware of this?
I'm
little-
not.
No.
I heard something about it, but I don't know the details.
Okay, so I'll just give a brief overview of this one. So Nike, H&M, and Adidas, and I think some other brands, but those are the big 3. We're talking about how some people in the West obviously were not comfortable getting, what do they call it, immoral, unethical, production of inhumane cotton production in specific provinces that were associated with work labor camps and Uyghurs, right?
Bless you.
Allegedly, Jinping.
But
Allegedly, Xi Jinping. I can't say that properly. I can't
Except
pronounce
you're
his
getting
name.
at people to get cotton.
Winning.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Haven't seen that before. Jesus.
Why is it always cotton, right?
It had to be cotton.
It's like something goes hand in hand with cotton, man.
it all started with Egyptian cotton.
Yeah.
Egypt started it.
It's the pharaohs, bro.
1,000 years ago.
Probably those slaves were like, "Fuck, dude, I would take the cotton. I don't want to build a fucking pyramid."
Cotton.
What is
aliens.
this? A triangle on a square? It makes no sense.
Right? Maybe there's a hierarchy. You start off with cotton, then you fuck around a bit, you get the cannabis farms, and then you go pyramids.
Yeah, that's it.
You smoke up, you don't want to
So are
contact
you saying
aliens.
that it's a pyramid scheme?
It's blood.
I'll be here. I'll be here all night. Unfortunately for you guys, sorry.
And we just lost 3 viewers. So, getting to the history of this little debacle with H&M and Nike and everything. So they just say on their site, oh, they're no longer going to be using cotton from this specific region, just that specific region, and they do it in their post. Now that's a big statement from a huge corporation. What does China do? Immediately bans and boycotts Nike, Adidas, H&M all across China, and they just got removed this last week, I think, from all their apps and the platforms and everything else.
The counterfeit market must be like shaking right now. It's like, oh my god, what do I do with all this product? It's only 2 yen. Or whatever. What's the currency they use? They're just like burning piles of fake Nikes.
It's panda tears.
Made out of cotton.
What is the Chinese currency called?
Panda tears. That's
No,
it.
no, yeah, fair
I'm
enough.
telling you
Bamboo
right now.
shoots or something.
Bamboo shoots. No, I don't know, man. They're not supposed to have currency, right?
What?
Communists, right? They don't.
Bitcoin. Their currency is Bitcoin. The Chinese
I have
version.
no
Mouse.
idea. Is it
Chitcoin or
Is that
something.
the
I don't know.
Mouse.
Huh?
There you
Not
go.
the yen?
Shiba coin.
Yen's is Japanese? So
Yeah,
I'm
Japanese.
pretty sure they would never go.
There might be a Chinese yen actually. I think it's Japanese and Chinese yen. Or is it
Does anyone
Chinese
in our
dollar?
audience
Doesn't China
happen to
hate
know
everything
what
that's
this is
associated with
called?
Japan? Like they wouldn't want anything similar to Japan at all.
I think that's true, but I'm
is it
not.
like dinar? Is that
not-
the idea?
It's state-sponsored monies.
I feel like I should know this now. I feel really bad that I don't know.
No.
But the point is, that's a very valid point. The counterfeit market is probably
shaking,
crazy,
right?
It's shaking, bro.
But
But
it's,
yeah, that's
it's crazy to
sensitivity,
me.
man. That's weird sensitivity to me.
But it's not just that. Do you realize how big and powerful and maybe conceited you have to be to pull a move like that? Like Nike, Adidas, H&M are huge global corporations.
Yeah.
You ban them in your entire country.
Yeah.
And you don't think for a second about what that could do to your economy and they don't care.
You don't give at all.
It doesn't
No,
matter
no
to
two
them.
shits, nothing.
That's the thing that's scary to me is people pander because they realize that they actually don't care. They're in the position of power, financially speaking.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. I would respect your boycott if it was done like, the proper Middle Eastern Islamic way, which is we all boycott you at once. We decide one by one, I will not buy your products, Denmark, fuck you, right? That's not a country boycott. It's like you're free
Tradition.
yourself, right? You make the decision, individuals. So China kind of cheats by making the government ban it, you know what I mean? Because maybe, like you said, the counterfeiters, the other people that really wanted it, they're like, well, we don't care.
Maybe John Cena was promoting Nike so that the Taiwanese folks could get kickbacks from
Yeah.
Nike sales in China.
Kickbacks.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was on purpose. I'm sorry.
And then they went extreme. It was an Air Max, if you will. And
Oh
I'm
my
just
God.
saying
What have I
I'm
started?
going to leave now.
But come on, if you're gonna rank sensitivities culturally speaking, I always thought me being Saudi Bahraini, that from my side of the Saudi side, that we were the most sensitive. Like if Pakistan too, I'd say can be.
It depends what the topic is we're talking about.
Exactly. But
Like-
we have specific topics that make us really annoyed, right?
But
Yeah.
I don't think it's sensitivity the way you're seeing it from a social point of view. Like you're talking about not allowing anyone to mention that, for example, Taiwan is a country, right? So it's
Yeah.
like because they know, from maybe past failed dictatorships or the Middle Ages monarchies and stuff like that if you allow the people to think for a second or to
Yeah.
even say it on any behind closed doors and stuff, eventually it's going to lead to a complete change
Well,
of thinking.
do you know what the reason I say sensitivity is? Because I think they're just butthurt over the fact that when China first started its civil war, right, and you had the communists on one side, and then the current government in Taiwan was originally the recognized democratic government of China
Yes.
in the mainland as
Yeah.
well. So they got pushed out of mainland China until all they had left was Taiwan. And for the longest time, I'm not sure what the date is, you guys can look it up, but in the 70s and 80s, people would still only recognize Taiwan as China. Nobody would ever recognize mainland, huge motherfucking China as China. Yeah. So that was like something that China had to deal with for so long, even though they were like, look, we're doing this, we're upgrading our economy, we're getting shit done, look, we're the real China.
But I mean, this is not just about like, their reputation or something.
No, it's insecurity, dude.
No.
Small dick syndrome.
About a lot of money.
It's border insecurity. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of money involved, yes.
But there's a lot of money when it comes to the transport and all the cargoes and everything.
Yeah.
Coming in, and there's that yellow line, right? Like I don't know if you
but
you saw about it, like the highway, yellow highway they call it.
China's
building all the way.
The new, what is it called?
CPAC.
They have a name for it. The Belt Initiative,
exactly.
Belt and Road thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean,
Pakistan's a big player in
that.
that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Silk Road 3.
I mean, they're not going to get that if people are saying Taiwan
Well,
is its own country.
a bunch of European countries have pulled out of that. Australia's pulled out of a massive deal with China. And all of this is because of the recent shit. This is just PR. Yeah. All of this is just based on the moral issues that they're making a big deal out of.
It's short-sighted. But that's the thing that they want to hang their hat on. That's the hill that they're going to die on.
But it's just Winnie that's doing it. No,
I understand. Well, but that is China.
The previous guys didn't do this. The previous prime ministers, or no, presidents, premiers, presidents, prime ministers,
yes.
President.
Yes,
I think it is.
I can neither deny nor
president.
They serve
President
10 years.
He probably has 3 titles as well. Like
I'm
chairman,
sure.
Secretary, whatever.
Yeah, chairman. Oh, it's not pretty well.
That
would be Chairman Mao.
It's really at the end. It's about control because for China, when the people acknowledge that Taiwan's like the one that got away. Kind of like how. Well, think about it. It relates to kind of like the struggle with like Iran and Bahrain, for example. Like Bahrain is the one that got away, and just Iran is always like.
Yeah, let's not go there.
Okay, let's not go there. But like,
I'm just gonna sit a little bit on this side.
Oh no, I'm being serious. But Taiwan is the one that got away, so it's like this sore thumb that's so close to China, but yet they can't take it over because the island itself is built like a fortress.
Your theory is Taiwan is probably China's first girlfriend, and
that
first love, yes,
at the altar.
She got all the popular kids.
Oh yeah,
at the UN, everybody flirted with Taiwan. You're China, you're China, right? So then Taiwan gets away,
and all.
Feels bad about it. Then you have the other girlfriends, Tibet,
Taipei, Hong Kong.
Hong Kong is a recent one.
Taipei is the capital of Taiwan.
Hong Kong is that. Hong Kong is like the half Asian chick. You know what I mean?
What's the other one? Freaking the one that used to be part of Portugal. Macau. There you go.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Macau.
Burma, Myanmar. I don't know were those ever curded.
Well, soon enough it's going to be India
Laos.
too. Apparently.
Oh my God. India and China are not friends.
Oh.
This is what, and by the way, we're not immune to the pandering. I don't know if you give me the look if I get too close to something, but ever since India decided that we're against China, we here are in like a gray area of like, do we go against China or do we go against India? Like, who do we be friends with now? So basically, the resolution is screw Pakistan. Which is like, excuse me.
That little thing just messed with Pakistan's identity so much. It was so much easier before.
Dude, No, it was. It was. It's true. Because Pakistan and China share a border too.
Well, they know who they hate. Do you know what I mean? Like, if the game was always like this, right? If India makes friends with somebody, Pakistan has to hate them, right? Mm-hmm. And then if Pakistan makes friends with somebody, India has to hate them. Mm-hmm. But then China kind of fucks all of it up.
Yep.
Because they're both on the same border.
Yep.
With the same country.
Yep.
And then the deals with the U.S. are kind of mixed up as well.
It really is a shit show.
See, I think actually, this is something that I think we grew up thinking about this politics, right? Like, it's a very bad misconception that we have that there are two sides in politics. Like, there's this and that, and either like you're good or you're bad. But in reality, there's like 500 different sides. You know what I mean? And all of them are bad.
Always ulterior motives.
Because a lot of people go like, oh, so if I'm like against the US, does that mean I'm a communist, right? I'm with China. I'm with it's like no, like they can both suck, right? They can really both be really bad. Or
you can both be assholes, by the way.
Exactly.
So you know.
Yep.
So
no, I feel you, and I think one of the differences too is like locally in our the things that Saudi, for example, or our countries can get sensitive about, we understand the root of it. You know, I think that's where it comes from. Like the basis is in deen, okay?
Yeah.
Like that's a line that you just don't go to. But like people say stuff about like Saudi human rights, blah blah blah, driving, women can't. They're just like, all right, whatever. We'll just keep doing our thing. Who cares, right?
Right.
China doesn't. What China does it on, we don't understand because we don't have that same baseline. They're just basically protecting their interests, like geographical interests, and we're like, wait, what is? How do I relate to that? Because what's this baseline? Like, I can understand the first one. I don't understand what you're getting sensitive about here. It
just seems like a weird kind of sensitivity because, like I said, in the Middle East and in Saudi, when they get sensitive about something, it's only recently that something big had to happen, and it was over a very specific thing, and everybody criticized them for it, and then Saudi kind of like pulls back. There's this idea of we don't want you looking at us,
Right.
Like we don't want you talking about us,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. That's the thing that is so weird for us.
That's what's weird.
Yeah. It's like China's inviting
It's
all of the...
inviting everybody to talk about them.
But we are seeing it from far, right? Like what you're saying. Like, so we don't understand the root of the sensitivity. We see, so they're protecting their interests. It's
True.
about the money. It's about power.
True.
But maybe someone from far as well cannot see what the Arab world really cares about. So they think it's more sensitivity. Oh, it's about this. But I feel like all of these sensitivities, whether they're here or not, or whether we think they are the roots, especially in the Arab world, they're also masking. So it's like to me, the entire reason all the time is money. Always.
Yeah.
There is nothing else that anyone cares about. It's always power and money. And actually, it's more money.
I'm actually glad that you summed it up with that, because for a second I thought you were about to get me to empathize with China, and I was going to be like, no, this isn't happening. But no, okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
now I'm with you.
I'm gonna go there.
I see you.
But I mean, if you no.
I want to feel like there's a little bit of a flavor, a flame of lost love, some spite, a little bit of, Xi Jinping goes at home and he wants people to just stop talking.
Stares at his picture of Taiwan.
I mean,
Music
this
playing in the
guy's-
background.
Because compare him, let's say, compare him,
Wolverine
like
meme.
you want to compare strong arm, like style dictators that have popped up everywhere around the world in the last couple of years, right? If you look at Putin, so slick, man. Putin knows how to navigate like so many issues.
His PR company is just
Really good.
fire. I mean,
He's
shirtless
so
horseback
good.
riding,
Oh my
like,
God.
the
China should hire them.
The Putin
Yes.
fan fiction must be like ridiculous.
Like they will ask him so many tough questions. Like a Japanese journalist recently, like just like rapid fired him like a freaking 3 minutes worth of a question. That was a question, like in 3 minutes, right? He's speaking Russian, all about like you're investing in nuclear war and armaments and this and early warning detection systems. You're gonna do this, and Putin just looks at him and goes, "We want to talk. We're ready to talk. If America wants to talk, we're ready to talk."
I mean, that's
it.
like
God,
that's
I
what
love
a
that
charismatic
deflect.
leader is.
Yeah.
Man, that deflect. I think that's why he's so popular in Russia
Yeah.
too.
He
Because
is.
they value that and they understand.
That's pure
they understand what
charisma,
he
dude.
does.
Charisma.
He,
Yeah.
That's the charisma of I killed
without a
500
doubt.
people, you know
without
what I
a
mean?
doubt.
With my bare
on
hands.
horseback,
On a
while
bear.
shirtless,
That reporter,
bareback,
that reporter was never seen again.
giving new meaning to bareback. He probably wasn't. I'm glad you caught that.
That was a good one.
But
No,
I mean,
so-
what would you rather have? A charismatic leader who, like, he's lying, but he's so good at hiding it, or someone like the
So this is actually why I think
right?
there is a silver lining for the world in the fact that it's Winnie the Pooh. I can never say his name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Xi Jinping, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Winnie the Pooh.
I don't know, but because he's clearly so insecure and sensitive. I mean, someone who has the forethought to be like Putin doesn't make it known that I don't like being compared to Winnie the Pooh and
exactly.
Yeah,
But he did that from the start. This is even before the global plan started being like.
I would have never
seen.
heard of it.
Yeah.
I would have
Exactly.
never
Yeah.
heard of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody would have freaking heard anything about
Exactly.
it.
Until
So-
he brought it up.
And
This is
it's
wrong.
clear
And-
that he doesn't understand the philosophy of memes and the internet, right?
Yeah.
Because it's
No.
when you say I
No.
don't want this to happen, that's exactly what's going to happen.
But that's the thing. I don't think they don't care about what's happening outside. They care about what's happening inside. Because if they allow Taipei to be a country, or Taiwan to be a country, sorry, Taipei, the capital city, of it.
Again.
Or if they don't know, if they, cause then they have to allow Tiananmen Square protests. They have to allow Hong Kong to be its country.
Yeah.
It
Of
goes
course,
against
exactly.
every,
Oh, yeah.
and then all of a sudden, everything gets fractured. So
Yeah.
I think it's really just about
Yeah,
maintaining
but
mainland
the
China.
more you try to clamp, because they're using Asian dad policies here. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
They are very much so.
I mean, they are Asians.
Like, but let's be honest, right? You'll that kind of policy will make your kids smart, Make your kid capable. Make your kid hardworking for sure. But your kid's never gonna fucking talk to you again.
He's also not gonna exactly.
Never gonna talk to you again.
Chinese tradition.
There is no way this policy, even if they do win, they lose. Do you know what I mean?
What do they do?
But at that point, I did my job. I don't need you to talk to me. You're successful.
Exactly. You'll understand when you're a father.
That was my responsibility. I said, there is a thinking that goes that way. I mean, I hear you. I'm with you. You and me, we agree on that, like intellectually.
He doesn't.
It does no good. It's not going to change.
I think it's eventually when you see more of these countries fall out of this deal and Belt and Road starts to fall apart bit by bit, they're gonna turn around because this wolf warrior diplomacy bullshit's not gonna work. I'm telling you right now.
No, but like I mean, you're talking pandering and corporations and what happened with John Cena and Fast 9 and everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, last year with World Health Organization, with you saw that interview with when she was asking him about
Taiwan, yeah.
and like the line got disconnected, and like I couldn't hear you.
Convenience.
And, like, this is not even on a like
I
another
couldn't hear
country
you.
or
That's
corporation.
hilarious.
This
I
is
couldn't
the
hear
World
you.
Health Organization that's supposed to be neutral. Like this is like the UN of the
They have the designated, like, Taiwan
Do you want me to
power,
honestly
like,
tell you what my take is of that? I definitely think the guy was obviously full of shit and he didn't want to talk about it at all. And he had, obviously, he knows how much shit he's going to get into with China because we see the smallest things they get into, let alone like you asking them about coronavirus, right?
Yeah.
So if they're going to fuck with John Cena, this guy's going to get hit the next day,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So he knows that. And he probably knows that he's told this journalist,
Not to-
don't bring up Taiwan.
Yeah.
The look in his eye, like when he's like,
Like, I
no,
told you."
we're not gonna. I think we've already talked about China. We've already talked about
No,
China.
because the first time he's like frozen, and you think like he got disconnected, but he's still there.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Can you hear me?" And he's like, I lost you there. Like, can
Yeah.
you? And she's like, I was asking you about Taiwan. He's like, yeah, let's move on to another. Actually, no.
We've
He
already
hung-
talked about China.
Taiwan's a
He
what?
hung
He
up.
said we already talked about China.
That was after he
Yeah.
connected because.
Oh, yeah.
Did he say that? We've already.
Yeah.
Oh my
What-
god!
That's
What
what
a
he did
genius
when he
line.
came
Just
back.
spliced audio.
So
Taiwan's
smart.
a
Because she was-
country? What? Taiwan's a
Because when she asked him again, when he said like I lost you, he froze and then he disconnected, and you can hear the Skype call that like it went, and then later she came back and she was like, so I want to ask you again about Taiwan, and he was like, we already spoke about China, so let's move on.
Yeah.
That
We're
was
done.
and the subtext within that was, I know where you live.
Exactly.
We've
Yeah.
talked about this. Have you seen The Dark Knight?
It'd be a shame if you were in a wrestling ring someday.
I want to live.
What's that music?
The panda's gonna take me down. Right, getting to some of the comments on the chat, just to segue here into something else. Sally lets us know that Nigeria was colonized by the Brits.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, I knew
No
that.
wonder they're so sophisticated and
Quiet.
cultured. Yeah, British people don't take credit for that one.
And Redeemer says the Chinese currency is called the yuan.
The Chinese yuan, that's right. Y-U-A-N. That's
Yuan.
it. That's it. Close
Right.
enough to yen,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
different. But different.
Win some,
So,
you dim some.
moving back onto the main subject of pandering and on how I see like how it affects the Middle East and why I feel like it's not going to work and woke does make you go broke. I've seen evidence of this over and over again. Right, we had the Gillette ad before. Gillette now.
Was that the toxic men thing? Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
So with the- yeah.
Bro, stop. Who's it? What are you doing here?
And I like that there was a shot of like all these men standing in front of their barbecues,
Yeah.
and it was supposed to be bad, but then like the internet took it and it's called like the Council of Men.
Yeah.
And now it's like the Council of Men approves this message or something. It's like you want to make it look bad, okay?
And they also gave such a gift to these
The men go their own way. Oh, the simps.
Yeah, and the men go their own way crowd. They
I
gave
mean-
them, they gave them exactly what they wanted as far as like.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing.
See, yeah, you're
They knew what
fucking
they were
hating,
doing.
man.
They knew what they were
You
doing.
liberal.
I think
Incels
the dumbest thing
nerds.
about it is it was on the borderline of being sleep enough to not be woke enough. Like it wasn't woke enough
Sleepwalking?
because the other problem with it was they tried to do the whole men are toxic, but then
Yeah.
they also fell into the trap of where the diehard liberals are going to be like, so what?
So
Excuse me.
all men?
So only men can save other men? What? Women can't stand up for themselves? Excuse me. You need men to stop it? No, we can stand up for ourselves. Okay, you get away from here with your penis energy.
And what if?
I mean, I'm just saying.
I want that to be the next. I want that to
Sponsored by
be the
John
next
Cena.
Gillette ad. Just they were just going, and I think you're just not doing it right.
Just not okay.
Can't shave with this energy.
I'm just- Have you ever tried shaving with a penis?
That's such a fun voice.
And you can't also show like the men in all the different, the minorities or anything
Yeah.
like that. So you also have to take care who to attack, So
Yep.
that's very like you can see it very clearly.
Right.
Yeah,
So
I
I wanted to just touch on this because I feel like there's a lot that goes on to how you project that kind of marketing when it comes to a global audience. Like with Gillette, it was specifically targeted to the US. So I could say maybe they're trying to buck the trend and they know that some people are going to like it, but mostly, you know, they're experimenting. So if it fails or flops, nobody's going to give a shit in a few years.
Advertising's advertising.
Yeah, so whatever works. But when it comes to a global audience, it's a different story. Now, I want to preface this before we get into the pride topic, right? I wanted to talk about specifically the issues that marketing departments and corporate comms and PR firms and everybody else that's in that kind of media world get into when we're dealing with the Middle East and with the gay issue, the gays. And the reason
do
I
you
want to
mean
say
the
the
happy
G word?
issue? Is this
happiest
the
issue.
OG meaning of gay?
Happiest.
The other one.
That's why we're all bright and colorful today, right? And the reason I bring it up is because there's obviously been a lot of recent developments on this issue. I want to make it clear to everybody at home as well that it's not a debate at all about what we're getting into when it comes to right and wrong about this. I personally know where I stand. I have a lot of gay friends. I'm not going to even debate it. I'm pro, right? Whatever happens, happens. In the Middle East, I don't give a shit, all right? I'm a black sheep. But when it comes to this topic specifically, I want to understand what the marketing world thinks of it and what they do with the Middle East that isn't sure what they think of it. Because the topic hasn't,
They know what they think of it.
I think this topic isn't settled as far as where it is in the culture. We don't know really where people stand. I know there's a lot of some of my friends that are very progressive, very liberal, forward-thinking Arabs that look at their friends here that are gay and they go, yes, support them no matter. Yes, Queen, support them no matter what. Get into this trend of promoting it as much as you can and. Making sure that there's more awareness of the topic. But it's not Lebanon. Lebanon has had more steps forward as far as people talking about it and getting campaigns happening.
Yeah, but it's still on a legal level. It's still illegal.
Exactly.
So it's
but I mean,
just
the cultural conversation.
Yeah, culture is different. Yeah,
the conversation is
Yeah.
there. You know what I mean? Here, I feel like the conversation isn't even happening. And you have I feel like the cultural signifier here is that when you look at something like Friends, here, people worship and covet Friends as a TV show. But now in the States, it's starting to show its age where people look at the reunion recently and they're like, okay, this is like how many white people
Chandler
that are
looked
straight?
Chandler looked
God.
fucking terrible. I was like, oh, God.
No, but can we? No, that's not what you're bringing up. It bugs me so much that's a problem. Oh, they're all white, straight, cis people.
That
oh my
is
God, they're
literally
cis
the-
people.
See, this is the problem where, and we've talked about this before, where it stops being talking about the problem and then finding or
That's what it
trying
is.
to find a problem
An
with
issue
the
with
issue.
it.
And you're looking at a show that was in 1994
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
2004.
People forget
and
the context
Yeah, I mean,
of
there's
the time.
context, and even for its context, it's still not a bad thing. But it's just this idea of inclusivity, right?
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing. But just like every idea that comes up, it has to be taken to the extreme.
Yeah.
And then people run with it, and then you start being, you call...
I feel like the issue here when it relates back to the Middle East is that they're not allowing the Middle East to catch up culturally. We're still so slow, so far behind that we're just making big enough strides. Progressivism in the States and elsewhere in the West is just going at this insane speed that people are just going to disconnect from. Like, I know people that look at the way they look at how Westerners treat Friends, and they go, "You're insane." Like the Arabs that would otherwise be considered liberal in any other context, that go, "You are insane."
Do you think it has part to do? I'm speaking specifically to like Khaliji style media, companies in the Gulf producing entertainment. Do you think it has something to do with the sponsors? Because maybe a lot of those sponsors that provide the money, because some of that money does come from the state, and if the state has that as being illegal or not culturally accepted, then they're not going to provide the necessary funding. So
Yeah.
you can do grassroots stuff, but how many people, because certain parts of the Gulf are more religious than others.
Yeah, of course.
How many people want to throw their name behind a lot of money and be like, yes, I'm the guy that sponsored this show about homosexuality or lesbianism, for example.
Right.
Topics that they might personally support, but do they want their more conservative family, their friends, etc., knowing that they support that? And that's kind of where that's that dichotomy, and I think that's why you have that arrested development, because I think a lot of people our age have accepted that.
Get that mic closer to you, Mike.
Hello. I think a lot of people our age, willingly accept and support, like pride and like homosexuality, lesbianism, etc., in the Gulf. But, you know, it's always, you know, family here, from my experience and just like, you know, interacting with other families and meeting people, family is so intertwined. And the fact that so many people still live in close proximity to their family that they almost, like, very, very privately, they have those thoughts, but they don't really have the space to develop them and, like, grow outside of, like, circles like this, for example.
Yeah. There's a distinction when it comes to that specific topic where it comes to, let's say, TV shows. I completely understand. But I don't know how you would, like, I'll give you an example. In the 1950s and 60s, I don't know if it was the same in the States, but just showing an effeminate man was weird, right? So you wouldn't want that. You, like, the manliness was key, right? So you wouldn't even go effeminate.
So it's like that.
In the Arab world, being effeminate, even some of my friends that are gay, they know that just them being, you know, who they are, men, and if they just are effeminate and they go out and tell people they're gay, those same people would tell them, no, you're just effeminate. Like, that's fine. You're fafi. You know, like, it's not even an acknowledgement. It's like the only thing that makes you gay, obviously it's not always going to be the personality or the voice or anything else. But for them, the only thing that matters is sodomy. They separate it completely from the topic, right? So when it comes to media, if you're talking about TV shows, nobody cares. All right? That's not going to ever happen because obviously, like you said, the sponsors are involved. But then people do care if you're like what happened here in Bahrain. The U.S. Embassy puts a flag on their Instagram
Everyone
account,
loses their fucking mind.
and people go insane. They rage. So where is that coming from?
I'll tell you where it's coming from.
All you care about is the sodomy.
Yeah.
Don't fuck the butt. That's all they care about,
Yeah.
right?
I'll tell you where it's coming from. It's coming from a lack of understanding of jurisdiction. That's literally it. The U.S. Embassy is U.S. land. That's all I'm saying. Like, I get it. U.S. Embassy did it on purpose,
Yeah,
clearly.
of course, but everywhere.
But, like, it's U.S. land,
but
so
everywhere
it's not
else,
even
it's
in
put
Bahrain.
outside
Laws
the
don't even
embassy.
apply.
What do you mean?
Like on the building outside.
Ah,
Okay.
The flight outside.
This was inside.
Yeah,
this was a
Bahrain
shot
is the
from
only place
inside.
where they put
And they
it inside.
Instagrammed it.
Okay.
It was like
And the
tiny
sleuths.
little
No,
all of
flags.
So that's being more considerate, right?
I
They're
agree.
starting off
No, I agree. I agree with you.
limiting themselves.
I agree with you. I actually think the U.S. Embassy did a nice thing.
Because I was talking with someone about it online, like some random woman, and she was saying that, in Bahrain kind of acknowledge pride and everything and all that. And I'm like, no, they did not, not on a national level. And she was like, but the U.S. Embassy, was allowed to put the flag and everything. And I was like, yeah, the flag is inside the embassy.
are
It's
allowed
really
to.
unlike any other building all over the world. Like any embassy, if you look it up, you will see that there's the American flag and there's the pride flag next to it, which was a big deal during the Trump administration because he didn't allow it. So now that Biden got it and everything, so they were like, like at least this guy allowed it and everything. So that's a big deal. But the idea is like it's inside the embassy, so it's like it's literally their land.
Yeah, but you put it on Instagram.
You put
Yeah.
it on Instagram.
That's
See,
outside.
now the
that's
Instagram is
My outside
that-
embassy
and
eyeballs are tainted.
that came through Batelco Fiber. Okay, it came through Batelco Fiber, which is Bahraini internet digital space.
Can I just say, what weird motherfucker follows the U.S. Embassy on Instagram? Do you know what I mean? Like,
This is
why
what
would
I want
you-
to know.
Why would you care? Like, if-
something like
The
this goes
person,
viral
it's the
very
person
fast.
who is tracking the trending hashtag of pride just to find out who's doing. I'm not even kidding, and probably because he's like Bahrain pride, he just wanted to shop at the supermarket, and he was confused, and then he saw the flag. He's like, hey, what is this?
He was at Lulu's and lost his appetite. He's like,
But I think it comes down to like a really Arab thing, to be honest.
Yeah.
Which is we kind of are okay with a lot of things, but we don't want to announce that we are.
Sirri.
Exactly.
Sirri.
Like everything's under the table.
Yeah.
Because like you said, like even in the culture here, like I've been here for around more than 10 years.
Yeah.
And I thought the culture was going to be more, conservative when I first came here. Because
Yeah.
I'm in Lebanon, and you hear, the entire Gulf is the same, and Saudi and whatever. So I thought it was going to be, and I was very surprised. Like, no, this is a really open-minded place. And even if there are people who are openly gay in Bahrain, it's not like it's a big deal. Like you don't
No.
feel like there's like hate or like it's really more accepted than
it's there, but Bahrainis don't tell you to your face.
yeah, it's
That's
kind of like
the-
low key.
Yeah, but-
I don't, and
But that's the point.
There's a thing. Yes, it's an element of sirran. It's an element of like mujahran. Yani, just don't. It's not open.
Exactly.
It's concealed. But the moment that an openly gay person become so openly gay that they're like blasting it from the rooftops, that's when it's like, okay, no, that's not okay.
Yeah, that's
but it's
the
like
thing.
we
Yes.
know you're gay, you're okay,
Because
but
like I
but
said-
you,
Don't say it.
you respect us enough not to tell me in front of my face.
Well,
Okay,
it's
There's
like
also,
they're
there's
actually
also
lying to
like I said, the
themselves.
buffer zone for denial. That's just effeminate.
exactly.
That's what
exactly what
stops
it is.
them. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
And which is why they went crazy when they saw the flag. Like,
Yeah,
the flag,
because
because
that's-
now it's like it's in my face. You know, I
But
cannot
so,
not
to,
look at
to
it.
the. I'm going to say something that might not be popular. To the defense of some of the Arabs that freaked out, while I disagree wholeheartedly with all the negative and, in my opinion, very hurtful comments they were saying, America has a bad habit, if you look at its history, of enforcing or imposing its culture and ideas on people. So what I right scandal what? But so what I think people
not
automatically right, you're like what the hell? But I think what a lot of people just instantly saw was that they're like, stuck for a law. They're imposing this culture on me. My eyeballs, and
They are
Mike,
infecting me.
do you
with the
find
gay.
it confusing, right? Where if you're a liberal, let's say in the U.S., and maybe you're not speaking for yourself here, but you're speaking for the culture in the U.S., right? And specifically liberal culture. How do they look at and justify the two things, which is like, I don't want to interfere with another culture. I want to keep it all friendly and where it's at. But I also want to push something woke. How do I square that circle?
So America is, I describe it as a cultural mosaic. So it's like on one hand, we want to be able to, I'm being serious. On one hand, we want people to retain their individual, parts from where they come from. But then there's kind of this like national chill vibe that we want everyone to have.
Yeah.
So like it's like oneness out of individual pieces.
So then let's relate it back to the corporations, because we can understand it coming from a government entity. You're like, okay, why are you pushing this agenda, right? He has the legal correctness in saying that it's in their own zone, so it's technically America where they put the flag up.
Yeah.
But when it comes to a corporation, the weird thing is now you're not saying. You're saying, oh, I'm going to chastise you everywhere else for not being woke. But when it comes to the Middle East, I'm going to stay quiet. I'm just going to
Because
say
they don't really care about,
Well,
about
exactly.
the That's what it is.
Well,
I mean, they don't give a shit.
Where's
It's
the
just
money
like
coming from?
money.
I get.
Here's
It
the
comes,
point.
it comes back to
Does that
Sergio's point.
still, is that going to backfire though?
I think in time.
Yeah. Because
I don't know.
the logic is going to, people are going to catch up to that logic and they're
I mean,
going to go.
they already caught up. Like you
Yeah.
see those, there was this picture of these logos. Like I think it's a video game company, Bethesda, and it's not from this year, last year. And someone showed all the like Bethesda Canada, Bethesda US, all of this pride, and then China and Russia and Middle East is all like the original color. It's in the same time, and it's like it's clear that you don't even change it for the countries in which you pretend to like you want to push that thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Or
yeah,
you're
yeah.
supporting that thing. It's like so you're supporting it in the places where it's already supported.
Do you think
and-
they have a criteria? It's like, okay, we'll watch Netflix. If there are enough gay shows in this
Will it
country.
grace? The hell is this? What? Let me check this out. Said Chinese Netflix users.
Trying to get, I'm just waiting for you to open my Netflix app and be like,
I'm just saying. Like, go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
no, I can't wait to open my Netflix app and be like, number one today in gay America. It's just like, wait, what? When did this happen?
No, but think about it, right? I
just
think if these companies could get access to those, because Netflix, you could do this tonight, all right? I turned on Netflix the other day. My wife is obsessed with RuPaul's Drag Race. Okay, you dropped like every fucking season known to man on
good
on
channel.
Netflix, right? And I promise you, if Netflix released the numbers for the Middle East and how many people in Bahrain are watching RuPaul's Drag
be
Race or
very
any
high.
of these other shows,
Very high.
what would you think would be going on? Would people suddenly shift and go, oh, you know what? Maybe now it is a good enough time to say this is something acceptable here.
La Khaled, none of the people in that show are Bahraini.
Oh,
It's okay when they. It's okay. It's okay. They're already weird, يعني.
Those Westerners, yeah.
Westerners يعني
They're hopeless
غريب.
anyway.
Look, what's
They're
there's
all going
one
to
letter.
hell anyway.
There's one letter between غرب and غريب. لا, they're from المغرب. Now they're
Wow.
المغرب.
all right.
Culture,
You're the
man.
most spiritual and also conservative when it comes to the religious side of things
That would
between
be
all of
fair,
us,
I
right?
think.
So I want to ask you this question: do you think if there's a huge number of people watching it in Netflix Middle East and they're watching RuPaul and they're enjoying it, is it an interest in like, oh my God, gay people, they're just so entertaining, they're so charismatic, they're like Nigerians times 10, right?
Oh my god! Oh my god! I think you've just insulted like.
What if
three
a gay
continents.
Nigerian?
I'm just saying, I was just gonna say, what if it's a gay Nigerian, even better, right?
Nigeristan.
Nigeria. So if they're watching this, right, is the idea I'm enjoying it because of that charisma, because of the entertainment, or is it for them like they're watching a car crash? Like it's like
I was gonna say, why do you replay train wrecks? I think it's literally that. It's like
these sick fuckers.
We're so much better than them.
It's so
Alhamdulillah.
In terms of fashion,
It's so sick.
No, I
It's
don't know.
just
I
wrong.
think there is a morbid curiosity element to it.
Right.
Genuinely, if we're being for like 5 seconds, if I can be sincere,
Yeah.
I think there's an actual morbid curiosity element of it. I do think some of it is also perhaps reaffirmation of, because if I'm being honest with you, like I've seen some drag stuff and some of it is like really out there where it just visually is jarring.
Yeah.
So I think some of it is just like they want to see the visual jarringness and be like, yep, I knew it looked weird. Khalas.
Doesn't
You know,
Pakistan
it's a
have
reaffirmation.
like the third gender though, like the transgender?
Yes.
It's like they're in Afghanistan, right? Like it's
In Pakistan too.
yeah. Well, it's like that. And don't they have like the boys that entertain men or something?
That's
like
an
that?
Afghanistani thing.
Oh, okay. okay.
What is this now? What?
So what's the third gender? You know what I'm talking about,
The term
right?
that the boy thing is bachabazi. We're not going to get into that.
Yeah.
But the third gender is
Someone was watching Vice News.
the third gender is the colloquial term is hijra.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Hijra, and they actually are like a governmentally accepted third gender or sex, as it were, actually. And there's even been like fatwas about their ability to marry
Really?
within within genders. Yeah.
So
Like,
why do you think that is allowed? But then let's say someone wanted to do like a gay pride rally in like Islamabad, which would never happen.
I don't want to get into that.
I mean,
No, I'm just curious. So
no
it's like,
good. I prefaced that point in the beginning.
You're
No
curi-
good is going to come from this side of the conversation.
your curiosity shall be sated post stream.
alright.
Meanwhile, since we're talking about corporate
I
pandering,
just want to say, also because you mentioned this before the podcast. There's also, of course, the idea of nobody here is gay, as far as we know, and we can't actually represent this topic correctly in the Middle East.
True.
So maybe I've talked to a few people. Maybe if they're brave enough and they want to come on the podcast and talk about it openly, then we'll actually have some representation from the Middle East and get to see what their opinion is about these topics. It's not about not wanting to talk about it. We're just
I hear you.
not capable.
I hear you.
Right,
But,
so-
but I am capable of talking about the corporate pandering thing for a second.
Go ahead.
I wanted
Nice
to ask.
segue.
I wanted to ask. Does anybody think? Because it struck me just as he was talking about this. Like, how does a Lucky Charms leprechaun feel that the rainbow has been co-opted into this thing now? Like, I wonder. Now, I'm
There's
a
lot
curious.
of Christians that got offended about that.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, that was just a joke that I threw out there. I didn't even know
How
this
does
was
the
a thing.
Irish feel about being? I'm kidding.
Well, you're familiar with this, right? In the 80s and 90s, like really like radical, like Christian Baptist. What do they call them?
Waco, Texas.
Evangelicals?
Yeah, evangelical.
Televangelists.
Waco, Bible thumping. They were
Televangelists,
so
yeah.
offended by the fact that they co-opted the rainbow because they were like, "That's God's creation. It's like God's
I
miracle."
mean, I get it, but I also like the pride flag isn't actually like, is it like the legit rainbow?
Not in the way
No,
the
it's-
colors
it's just-
are.
it's
The colors are not Roy G. Biv, right?
Well, no,
Scientifically,
It is?
Yeah, it's in the rainbow. It's not
It
the
is-
shape of a rainbow.
No, but is it Roy G. Biv?
Yeah, it's
Oh.
it's like
Is
rainbow.
it?
And then now they've added a. It's
I
like
feel like it's something that would piss
Wait.
off Neil deGrasse Tyson.
they've
you know?
added,
added-
they've added a few other colors. It's
Okay,
like
خلاص.
there's a pink stripe, a brown stripe, and I think a black stripe.
It's no
Folks
longer a
on the
rainbow,
internet,
perfect.
I can't fact check this.
That's probably for the I plus LGBTQI
Yeah,
plus
I
A
think
something.
It's like
Plus, it's
LGBTQ,
LGBTQ+.
intersex,
That's how it is now.
maybe
Oh, is it?
pansexual. So they've added a couple of.
Is that like the
colors.
official thing now?
They're smart on that side.
Today
Our
I
side of
learned.
the world is just one gender. It's like you're just lumped into the whole thing. That's it.
I mean, there's at
Good to
least
go.
two. Just one?
Well, you said
That
third
is,
gender.
there is man and then there is subman. That's it. Just the one gender.
Yo, what's up, girl?
Everything comes below.
You want to be made from this rib? Let's go.
When it comes to our third gender, we don't confuse the Pokemons. There's only the first generation Pokemon, nothing else.
Just real quick, that's totally a Christian thing. That
I-
I'm just throwing that out
I
there.
know.
Okay, cool.
Right, so we got a comment from the chat. Sally says, the common gay tolerance test here is what would you do if your son says he's gay?
Oh.
That's why is that just here? I think that's like everywhere. That's
Well,
what they
that
use.
is very
Which,
true.
in my opinion, is like the worst tolerance test you could possibly do, because that's like you're hitting the closest to home, where even if somebody is progressive, they're gonna backtrack for a second and be like,
whoa.
wait a second, my son, I have to think about it.
Everyone else is okay, but not my son.
Could you ask something a little less, like with lower stakes for a second? I feel like what if your best friend is a little bit better?
That's
Just
understandable.
a little bit.
Do you honestly think that I know that companies will never fucking do this, but you know how like they always talk about companies have a responsibility now. It's not just a company. A corporation has to now basically,
Stakeholders,
represent
Yeah,
values,
sure.
right? It's not just, making profit, which is what they're always going to do anyway.
Oh yeah.
But if you really wanted them to do something impactful, they would do what I just said with Netflix. They would release data, like numbers on specific things. I feel like that would change.
But
I mean,
then,
I don't think that number
then
is
you might
secret,
piss off a
though.
government, and now Netflix is like banned, and now
I
we
mean,
have.
you can't do that
now we
anyway
have-
because already, I mean, Netflix has so many movies that don't come to the Middle East, especially LGBT movies, because they're banned here. I mean, this is a fact.
All of
because
RuPaul
of
Drag
this-
Race is there.
Yeah, but
That's as
these kind
gay
of,
as
like,
it gets.
It's
these
not
fly
gay
under-
though.
Why? Most.
It's just drag.
Yeah.
It's not gay. No, I'm being serious. Like this is
Listen,
the perspective.
I know that's the perspective, but
The
I
third
literally
gender.
asked this
Oh,
from
okay,
somebody
okay.
recently.
You list like pragmatically.
Yes,
okay,
I've
okay.
literally asked somebody who I know who's gay, and I told them like, "What's the percentage of somebody that's like, drag and they're gay?" And they're like, "It's pretty high. Usually, if you're drag
or
gay,
eth-
it's not
or
necessarily,
trans, yeah.
but that's also
Bisexual.
not common misconception that it would be a transsexual or a transgender.
No, I hear you.
There's a lot of distinctions. If anything, on the show, the most confusing thing I saw was a drag queen that was actually previously a woman that then transitioned into a man and then said they go into drag to make money. So they went back to woman, but so
Okay.
the argument is
Whatever works for
Very
you.
interesting life arc.
I don't know why I went down that tangent, but the idea is that if you're going to be offended by anything, it would be for the Arab-minded, the Middle Eastern mindset. That would be a show like that. So
I think the idea is that if we really want an actual change in the Middle East or whatever, I mean, it has to be done not in a because everyone has to know that the Middle East and other conservative cultures are not where the progressives are, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, the progressives had like 25, 30 years, a head start before we did. So it has to be a bit more subtle and a bit slower like that, because at the end of the day, you actually want change. You don't want to say, oh, well, I did my part and I introduced, pride and LGBT, and it's the culture that didn't accept it. They're never going to accept it. I mean, that's a fact, because you're just throwing it out there there's so much fear, there was so much, cognitive dissonance, there's so much, you can't just throw like this. So if you do it in a way where it's actually educational, where it's slow, where it's subtle, it's going to eventually get to the
I think
place
you
where-
just do it through TV, man.
With
This
this
how
through
I-
TV, actually, yes, I agree. I agree.
I mean, you're talking about like corporations that like you want Netflix to, like release the stats on it, right?
Yeah,
There is a corporation I can think of that has released stats on things that reveal a lot, but I don't know if that changes much. And that one that I'm thinking of is Pornhub. Pornhub has released. I'm not even kidding you.
Oh,
they have
God.
released the top searched categories within
Pornhub
certain
is
countries.
changing the world,
And
man.
there are some countries that would
with
certainly
questionable
Third
politically,
gangbang.
politically and religiously not be so open to it. That certainly search gay.
Hold up, I've
A
got
lot.
a VPN on. How the
Khaled, what do you want? Chitty chitty gangbang? Ugh. God.
How the fuck do they know? God damn it, NordVPN.
This episode is sponsored by NordVPN.
Those damn Scandinavian bastards.
God damn it.
The Vikings strike again.
I wanted to get into that because I feel like there's these numbers are so valuable. I know they can't give it out because it's business and giving it out is so precious. It's something they can sell, right? But if you want them to be like morally responsible as a corporation and have some actual impact on the world, you would be able to tell. You'd be like, okay, look at the numbers. The Middle East is not into this. They're into this. They're into that. They're into Transformers. They're not ready for the theory of everything.
but not all the movies are coming here, so you can't even do that statistic. It won't be fair.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
given that Netflix is not releasing the entire library in the Middle East, for example, of course the numbers are going to be low. So it's not going to reflect.
Do you have an example of something they're not releasing? Do you know?
No,
what-
for example, because I saw this once that there is like a secret Netflix code where if you put it in each type of movies, if you put the number in the search bar, it will show you the entire list of those movies under.
Yeah.
So it's like action and all that. And there is an entire section for LGBT movies.
Yeah.
And that section doesn't exist in the Middle East.
Well, what's happening there is I think the algorithm isn't active to recommend it. Do you know what I'm saying? Because the code, what you get as a selection is all down to licenses and what they deem to be okay. Because I think if there was something really off that they didn't want to air completely, what's his name? The stand-up, the comic, Minhaj, Hussein Minhaj.
Hassan Minhaj.
Hassan
Minhaj.
Hassan Minhaj.
Hassan Minhaj.
Hassan Minhaj.
Hassan Minhaj.
Taiwanese comedians.
Taipei.
Just want to make sure I'm getting that right. Hassan.
Hassan.
So he had that episode which pissed off a lot of people in Saudi, the government
Yeah.
specifically. That's
Yeah.
a big one that Netflix was under pressure to deal with and get tossed.
He literally had an MBS episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
it
wow,
was
shit.
huge.
It was,
criticism.
it was titled MBS.
Good on him.
Yeah,
Really.
that's still
Straight
up,
up.
as far as I know, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So if they were going to get rid of
But I don't
something, it
know.
would have been that one.
And
So-
they did not.
Well,
I don't think. No, I think
Like
they didn't
even
budge.
after the backlash.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's one of those like the more like we talked about earlier, like with China, the more if the Middle East is like gays are bad, gays are bad, gays are bad, and they keep openly admitting their censorship, all that's going to do is stoke curiosity in people, and they're gonna check it out because like it's human nature. Don't look at that. Everyone's going to look at it.
Exactly.
I think
exactly.
the difference between us and China as far as sensitivity is I honestly do, and this is where I'm being positive about the powers that be over in this part of the world. I do think that when they fall, if they see that the trend is liberal, they'll go liberal. If they see the trend is conservative, they'll go conservative. They go where the people want to go. I think
who?
the powers that be in this part of the world.
Well,
And
the
this
money
part of the
too.
world.
Yes.
Where the money's
As
go
in,
where the
as
money
in
is.
well, not always, because it depends on. They'll definitely want the finances to be correct, but they want to make sure that nothing they do interferes with whatever is culturally relevant to people. So that's why, for example, me growing up in Saudi, everything was very careful. Progress was very careful for so long. Any change, any movement towards a specific type of culture was measured carefully.
But what happened now? Look at the complete.
But that's
opposite.
because the numbers are there.
Yeah, it's
They
making-
can
making
prove
moves,
it.
Yeah.
Before we couldn't prove it. Now you see an entire generation of young Saudis, like 70% or something of the population, that want specific things. They're talking on Twitter. It's that explosion on Twitter that caused the government to go, oh, this is what they want. We have proof. We don't have to be worried about
Why
anything.
would they care what they want?
Because they want to go where the trend is. If you believe in your mind, everybody that's supporting the powers that be are from a conservative mindset. And by the way, I'm walking a very thin tightrope right now. So please don't
Yeah, I'm with you there. Yeah.
don't kill me. I don't want to end up in many pieces later
Yes.
on. So
he just caused the
What are you, Turkey?
I almost name dropped it. You almost made me name drop it.
let's not go there. So what I'm saying is that they are very, and I'm comfortable saying this in a lot of ways, is that they are very smart when it comes to knowing when Saudi or any other state in this specific region are ready. I think they're honest when it comes to that. I think in the past you wouldn't know. You would be like, well,
that's fair.
you know, in the 80s they said we were liberal, and then everybody switched to conservative. Do you know what I'm saying? Specific points happened, specific things happened,
Yes.
and even they, in the powers that be, they acknowledge that. They say we were going towards a specific trend, and then something happened in a country not far from here,
Yeah.
and that changed everything across the board.
True.
And flip things back to a conservative direction. So they want to go where the people go. And I think the numbers, why it's so relevant to have those Netflix numbers and everything that goes with it, is if you could see those numbers, then the powers would see those numbers and go, okay, so people aren't going to be that offended. It's just air. It's like woke stuff in the States. A lot of people are just angry people on Twitter. It's not the majority of people.
True.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they're so loud.
Exactly.
They're
Always.
so fucking loud.
The loud minority.
You get scared if you're a politician in the States. You'll be like, I don't want to fuck with that. I don't want to. I don't want to get involved with this shit. So that's my theory.
What the hell's this Bible Belt?
Unless you're
No, I mean,
Xi Jinping, and then it doesn't matter what anybody thinks.
of course not. Because I don't think that guy's actually interested in governance. Whereas I think the governments you're referring to, like the local or Middle East governments, they're actually interested, believe it or not, in governance. Like
Yes.
they're actually interested in governing the people
They
the
are.
best they can, or the best they think they can.
Yeah.
And that's where that comes in. I haven't thought about it that way, but
See?
makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Oh, man.
Just for
Right.
thank you for inviting me.
Stay woke.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I learned something. This
You're
dumb
welcome.
head got something
This
through
entire
it.
episode was for you
Just-
to learn this
thank
point.
you.
By the way, now
So-
we can. Okay.
Jazakallah.
Wrap it up.
Thank you.
Wrap it up.
To remind all you guys, because we're at the 1 hour mark right now, guys, please don't forget, we're always walking this tightrope. I bet you no other fucking podcast in the Middle East would ever do any of these conversations. So please, If you can, make sure to hit that subscribe button, share, let people know that you care about, who would be interested in this content, and let them know that this is happening, or share it another time. Anyway, if you do hit subscribe, remember, you're going to get in while it's still cool, because nobody knows about this fucking thing. All right?
And you get to say that I was there.
What's on Local BH? Local BH talked about it. So,
Yeah.
Do a feature.
I'll start pandering and selling out at 10,000. All right, 10,000 subscribers.
Can I just say that I'm really sad that at the top of this episode or this stream, when we talked about China and pandering, we never once mentioned pandas in a ring.
I didn't. I was going to go for it. I was so scared.
Why didn't we talk about pandas in a ring?
And that red dot's on
That
the
would-
forehead again.
And the second camera is off now.
Oh wow!
Has China officially invited the pandas back, by the way, from the zoo that they loaned to the
ones
US?
that they're trying to get him to
Now it's
fuck, right?
Huh?
The ones that they're trying to get him to fuck.
Yeah, did they call him back yet? Because
I think
the
so.
US has such China as an adversary now, which
I think
means
Trump
that
sent them back. He probably sent them back through Mexico as well.
take your kung flu pandas
we're
back
gonna
with you.
We're gonna put Taiwanese babies inside of these pandas. We're gonna start a new breed. I know panda breeding. It's great. The best pandas. Huge pandas.
Oh my god!
I'm so glad you're here just
You
for
said
that
kung
impersonation.
flu.
Kung flu panda.
We're gonna get into a segment for the podcast, a special one here at the 1 hour mark. It's a new thing I'm doing on the show to have some fun. Don't forget, guys, of course, submit your questions because we're gonna have a Q&A right after we have another conversation as we flip through the many topics we have. But in the realm of pandering, we have a special game I'm gonna be giving you guys. It's called a Boardroom Bitches Done Blunder. All right, the Boardroom Bitches Done Blunder here at Bedouin Banter, a game where we go into the minds of the marketing executives and policymakers who pander and try to relate to their challenges. All right?
We were not prepared for this.
No, you're not prepared. You are not prepared. Mike, you're going on first, all right? This
Okay.
is a question posed to you. I'm going to give you a situation, and you have to apologize your way out of it.
Mike was born for this
as an
role.
American,
Yeah.
I was born for this.
You have the advantage. Been practicing
not
for years.
fair.
All right, so situation.
It's not fair.
Situation. I apologize.
It's like he's the guy in the Olympics that goes up against the Canadian, you know?
Sorry.
The Canadians always lose.
He apologized better, bro.
Oh, that's true. They do. They do.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Sorry, curling.
Right.
Sorry.
Mike.
All right.
You ready for this?
I am.
All right. You are the head of corporate comms at McDonald's. Your relationship with China is tenuous at best. You have just launched a multi-million-dollar deal for the return of the 1998 McNuggets Szechuan sauce.
Oh god.
However, due to a viral hashtag called Hong Kong Dong Stay Strong,
Say that one more time. Hong Kong dog.
Stay strong and long.
Hong Kong Dongs Stay Strong.
Is this a character for the Breakfast Club? Like, see, he gets that reference to you. Oh my god! Ask in the Q&A.
Due to a viral hashtag called Hong Kong Dong Stay Strong, your Szechuan sauce is now being used by anti-mainland protesters to dip their dongs into the sauce as a symbol for phallic freedom. Henceforth calling themselves the Hong Dong Sauce Party.
Oh, Jesus.
Yep. Mike, how do you apologize and play the pander?
Okay, so just to clarify, that was a lot to take in. I'm apologizing for the Hong Dongers.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm
You're McDonald's.
yeah, correct.
You're
I'm-
corporate comms at McDonald's.
Correct. I'm corporate cons at McDonald's, and I'm apologizing.
This is the situation that's happened due to your release of the Szechuan sauce. You didn't plan any of this. This just happened, and now China is
Okay.
not happy.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for taking your time here today. What we have, for years, we've been developing this sauce in our lab, and, well, let's just say we had a couple of saucers trained outside of the country, and they came in, and they got a little bit too saucy, and, well, there was a leak. There was a lot of sauce leaked out, and now our credibility with the Chinese people has changed. And I would just like to say on behalf of the clown himself, Ronald McDonald, that we are going to work diligently to clean up this sauce. Because when there is too much sauce, it's a mess. It's a mess. That's the most eloquent I could fucking put it. There you go.
Terrible.
And I know.
Terrible. What's the rating for this? What do you want to give him rating?
McDonald's is officially banned in China.
I'll give you
No big amount for you.
a 3. A 3 at best. I'll give you. What are you giving
How many
him?
nuggets?
Yeah, two.
The Whopper is Supreme.
I feel like I need a
I can see
redemption.
the
And
headline.
next time we'll do more of these on the next episode. You guys,
Burger
you can
King is
prep
the
one
new
for
king.
me as well. So I'm just setting the trend here forever on the
Oh
podcast.
god, I'm scared now.
Hadeva,
That was
this is yours.
tough. Oh
right?
my
Hadeva,
god.
this is yours. I threw the hardest one at Mike. Okay.
Okay, good.
Well, you got me with all the puns.
handle
The
it.
Hard
honking
because of the
dongers.
Hong Dong laws.
Here we go. Hadeva, I think you're gonna ace this one.
oh
Okay?
my
This is
God.
right up your alley.
Inshallah.
Third gender and that. I'm kidding. I'm just jabbing.
Here we go. Okay. All right. Hadeva,
Focusing, yes.
you're the community moderator and social media manager to Kim Kardashian's online identity.
Oh God.
Kim has just been called out for wearing a niqab on the cover of Vogue in solidarity with Muslim women. Right? White Americans are accusing her of cultural appropriation. Muslim Americans highly approve but would prefer if she converted.
Oh my god. What's that place in Michigan?
Was it
She should go
niqab?
to
That's
the-
just, oh my god. Okay.
And Armenian Americans are fuming
Just because.
plot twist, Kim is actually wearing a yashmak, not knowing it was a Turkish niqab. She's Armenian, by the way.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yashmak is a Turkish niqab?
Yeah.
Okay. So all I need to know is Kim's wearing a niqab. White people or woke America is incensed.
Yeah.
Muslims are happy but want more.
Yeah.
And Armenians are like, you waxed all your hair, we're angry. We want more hair on the body. Okay, I understood.
Armenians do not wear Turkish stuff. All right?
So I'm apologizing for this.
You're apologizing for this. You're Kim, but you're not Kim.
Okay, but I'm Kim.
You're her social media manager. On
So this is the post
online
that-
identity.
This is what Kim would read out?
Yes. Or write out. It's up to you.
In
Right.
her story, like imagine the long.
No, this is
like,
the teleprompter.
Yes,
She's got a
yeah, yeah.
teleprompter. Okay. Hi, everybody. Assalamu alaikum to all my Muslim sisters and brothers. You know, when I was with Kanye, it was a very difficult marriage, but I learned a lot about different people and understanding different cultures and different types of people. And I really got an appreciation for understanding just things like how my sisters have different names from me. I understand that's a thing. I understand that.
Right? It's fucking hard.
I'm sorry. It's just, it's funny to me because I wore the niqab because I just have so much respect for all the women out there that could break the internet like me but don't. And I'm all about bridging barriers between countries, which is why I picked the Turkish niqab, because Europe and Asia are both part of my heart, just like I'm a part of all of my children. You know, my genes are in them. Sometimes I'm in genes, sometimes I'm out of genes. It doesn't really matter, but I just want everybody to love each other, and I don't want anybody to be upset. You see, I'm not even white, so to all the Americans that are angry at me, I'm a minority too. You know, I grew up with all this hair over me, and it's all gone now. I had to wax it off. Being Armenian's not easy, and I just want everybody to remember that, and please keep up with the Kardashians.
Yes. Gold star.
Is that how you pander?
I give that
Hey, you fucking
5 out
pander.
of 5 nuggets.
Pander like a pro. That's why the thumbnail has the two.
I really wanted
Somebody-
Kanye. I
somebody
really
else.
wanted Kanye to come in and interrupt. Like, hold up now.
No, Beyonce should have won that.
Oh my God! I should have.
My new child's name is Southwest in honor of Armenia.
Kim,
I'm
I'm,
a lyrical
Kim, I'm
wordsmith.
gonna let you finish, but everyone knows that John Cena had the best apology.
Oh, it's perfect. All right, guys. You guys also give
my
us your ratings, what you think about these two guys right now. And
His
I'm
was
going to
better.
get
His
to
was better.
Sergio. Sergio, I got a different one for you, man.
Oh, he's doing.
I can't follow him.
I know. This is a different one.
I set the bar pretty low. So, yeah.
Sorry. This is why we started in this order, right? Here we go. Sergio.
Yes.
This should be relatable to you because of your profession.
Oh.
Okay. You are the world's foremost branding and public profile consultant.
Oh yeah.
Your technical expertise in the world of the visual arts is unparalleled.
See you nodding.
And John Cena is one of your clients.
Oh yeah.
And guess what? He just fucked up again.
Oh god. Another time?
Another time. All right.
All right.
This time by saying he truly enjoyed visiting India, Nepal especially.
Okay.
Nepal, especially within India.
What?
Oh Jesus! All right.
So now, instead of just pandering to the Chinese by speaking Chinese, he's asking you to subtly, and I mean very subtly, like micromillimeters, Photoshop his eyes and make them slightly squintier.
Oh my god.
Oh my.
Sergio, how much money do you ask for?
Oh man, the fake out. Oh my God.
Wow, that's a twist. That I did not expect that. I mean, given that it's gonna be most likely the last thing I do in my career.
Well, he's already pretty
Given that-
squinty. You might be able to
Yeah.
get
I mean,
away
it's,
with
it's,
it.
it's just old. It's wrinkle lines.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Too. I mean,
He just thinks the Chinese speaking is not going to be good enough. Needs to relate.
I'm just trying to, balance between everything I know, ethically and,
Yeah.
insulting, not
Like,
just an entire continent.
what's the
actually, not-
price tag on your
of my
ethics?
my ethics? Yeah. I mean, north of $1 million, I think I'd sell my
okay.
ethics.
That's it?
Completely. Yeah.
This is
I'm-
John Cena, Fast
Oh my
9,
God,
dude.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, this like I don't want to take too much, in
Sergio.
terms of my ethics. So I'll just say it's 1 million.
Well,
I'm
it's an
judging you
honest
so
answer.
hard.
Disappeared.
I thought I'd judge him for a different reason, but this was a surprising one. I actually didn't expect that. That's an interesting answer.
I'm judging him for just lowballing it. Like,
I know.
like, bro, you could have. I'm judging you for not being Yani. What sort of Arab upbringing is this? You could have milked him for like 50 million at least.
Dude, just the scandal of him having done the Photoshop, you could blackmail the shit out of him, bro.
I don't even think about this stuff.
Just sign it. Just sign an NDA and
I
get the
just
50
thought
mil.
I just thought I'd get
Wait a
some money.
second.
So what would you ask for? Pose the question to you.
Honestly,
Yeah.
for that one,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably just do it for free, just to see all the shit that would get started. My payment is the
Oh,
entertainment.
wow.
Oh man, I'm not okay in the head.
Oh, this
Sorry,
is
guys.
fucking good, guys. I like that. All right, that's the end of that segment. You guys just enjoyed one of our first segments here with Bedouin Banter, Boardroom Bitches Done Blunder for the corporate comms department. All right, going through everything.
Sorry. Okay.
Can that be a T-shirt? I think that needs to be a T-shirt.
Right?
Yeah.
Bedouin Bitches Done Blunder, or Boardroom Bitches Done Blunder. Right, last topic of the evening before we switch into the Q&A. Guys, get your questions prepped. I'm going to look at the YouTube in a bit and see your comments. We're talking not just about, pandering. We've covered kind of most of what we want to cover with pandering and everything else, but we also have the new update with what I want to consider a big, kind of different slant with pandering, which is like, we've seen like a lot of late night shows, a lot of different kinds of media in the States that are mostly entertainment based, kind of pander to the, let's say, the authorities that be when it comes to health, like Fauci and the National Institute of Health and such. And we're seeing a big reversal on social media with regards to that, and them going now completely into the realm of saying that, talking about the Wuhan lab leak theory is not going to get this stream taken off.
Ooh.
Yeah, everything's
Progress.
fine. There's progress on that front. And by the way, just to preface why I really give a shit about this issue and this revelation, because some people have called me conspiracy theorist, is because when I was on radio in Bahrain in around February, I was telling the guys.
That should not be an insult, might I?
Yeah.
That's okay, go on.
I w-
Hey, if you hear my podcast, you know where I can come
Oh,
from. So,
okay.
Someone's shaking right now.
Not necessarily. I just want to. I wanted to say that these days, being a conspiracy theorist is actually you're part of the cool crowd.
Oh, yeah.
It's a different kind of world. Dark horse outsiders.
Frogs are gay.
He was right, by the way.
Yeah.
Turns out he was right again.
Wait, frogs are gay?
Apparently so.
You ever
Is
been
that actually a thing?
It's now a thing.
Bro, you ever been to the Amazon? It's like a gay club.
They're-
All the frogs are
just look it up now, okay? It started off into a joke, now it's turning into a real thing. What's up?
Wow.
Oh yeah, shit! I forgot the camera's on. Camera was on Halifa this whole time. Wow. All right, guys. So what I was saying, Jesus. Yeah, so when I was in radio in February, this was back when COVID was still just breaking in the Middle East. People were just starting to talk about it. Nobody had brought it up. I was covering the issue on air. No official announcement happened here. And I covered it for about a week and only reporting from Associated Press and Reuters and everything else. And one of the things I was doing was debunking all the bullshit. Like people eat bats in China and stuff, which they do, but it has nothing to do with COVID. And I was debunking a lot of the other stuff like 5G and everything else. But I did bring up that the lab leak theory was still one that was being considered because of the coincidence of, the fucking lab was there. And just like what John Stewart said, it's in the name. It's called the Wuhan coronavirus. The fucking name of the lab is the name of the virus.
That's Ben Shapiro, actually. So would have said, like, that's the meme, right? Like, he would say, it's in the name.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a meme.
This is what John Stewart is fucking stealing.
I mean, but is it really stealing because they're both Jews? So it's like they share everything. It's like it's okay.
Oh boy.
I mean, everything is like
Third gender.
Wait.
Third gender. Distraction memes.
All right, time to apologize. I'm so sorry. Really, I wear a hat when I pray. It's kind of like a yarmulke, right? Is it not? Okay, I'm going to stop.
So just like the stream, I got into a lot of trouble. Got contacted by the government, apparently through my boss, and was told to go off the air about the topic because they had not officially announced anything with regards to COVID. And
Was this 2020?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Early
Feb 2020. Okay,
yeah. Early 2020 in Feb, and it was one of the main reasons I eventually left radio. Not the biggest one, but it just felt like, you can't take a risk with talking about everything, even when it's from verified sources. So I felt the personal burn of that specific incident, and I felt like, hey, if they were bothered even by the fact that the Wuhan lab leak theory was not something you want to talk about, well, now everybody is. 180s from the CNN, 180s from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Everybody that was banned has been told that, this policy no longer is going to ban anyone. And there's no apologies. Nothing about the whole thing. And yet they pandered like crazy to the powers that be with regards to health and coronavirus combat, which is like, I'm going to suck Fauci's dick to no end. And we'll see where the truth lies. They buried the freaking truth. So what do you guys feel about this? I want to hear an open discussion without getting into the other shit, just the lab leak theory.
Fauci's dick.
Oh, just the lab leak theory?
Yeah.
I mean, look, there's a great article out there that we would probably throw up a link or something. I think it's from Newsweek. It might be from Time. That is literally how amateur sleuths broke the Wuhan lab leak theory. And it's just all about like giving credence to the fact that, as I'm sure you're going to get into, the whole gain of function research and the understanding that there's a lot of little pieces there that make perfect. It's not just that like little pieces kind of fit. It's like all the pieces make too much sense. And it's just like, now just apply Occam's razor. Like, this is the solution that fits it. Why are we not accepting it? Probably conflict of interest and a bunch of other reasons and geopolitical security, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, I personally think that is a very, very likely origin.
See, this is the part I don't understand, though, because it makes more sense because when I talk about conspiracies and everything else, this is a real one, and it usually works out like this. You do something, there's too much conflict of interest, there's a fuck up, and then there's an incentive to say bury it because we all might get fucking
That's
screwed
literally
over by
the
this.
definition of conspiracy.
Right? But it usually starts because of a real blunder. Like, I don't believe in the whole, there are people that say, if you believe in lab leak, you're one of these people that believe that China, that China released it intentionally. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, which to be clear is not what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nobody's saying that. I don't
Nobody.
think.
None of these virologists.
Accidental.
Exactly.
Nor was it man-made.
Leak.
Nor was it man-made. Like it wasn't it wasn't CRISPR gene edited, created within the lab.
Yes.
It wasn't created from scratch. This virus.
So it wasn't like a bio weapon. So it wasn't like, that's what you're saying.
Well,
right? It wasn't actually.
What are you doing the research for?
If this is
I'm not going that far.
Bioweapon, this is like the shittiest, Chinese knockoff bioweapon possible.
You don't have to
fatality.
Yeah. But hold up, you don't have to go that far. I see what you're saying as well. But I have a theory, right? That I know what the purpose is from what they've said about gain of function research, which is the idea. And let me explain what gain of function is and why it's not CRISPR gene editing bullshit.
Right.
So they're not like creating something like a Frankenstein. Okay, this is something, and I've been practicing how to explain this in dumb people terms, so my terms. And you take a Pokemon.
Oh my god!
Why?
We're going there.
Yeah, you've lost me already, right?
Yeah.
And the virus is a regular Pokemon. It exists in nature. You capture it. It's natural, right? It's one of those viruses that you're not creating it from nothing. And then you take the Pokemon, and you know this Pokemon can turn into a fucking dragon, right? It's a natural evolutionary course is to get to the fucking dragon stage and kill people. So you say, oh, justifyingly, I'm going to do this thing where I'm going to take the Pokemon, put them in this like isolated arena, train it to no end to be the most vicious fucking Pokemon ever.
Pokemon Stadium 2000?
Yes, dude. Like Pokemon fucking meets Mad Max, right? Like Thunderdome style, okay? You train it to no end to fight off every little thing, every other Pokemon possible. You like let it evolve and shit, gets all the traits. Then you say, okay, this is the most powerful Charizard I can get. Fuck him. Let's figure out how to kill it. And from that, you predict the natural course of the virus, and now you can, ahead of time, before it becomes this super beast, you've developed vaccines for it. Because the theory, and this is why it splits the health community apart, is that what you're doing is you're preventing a possible outbreak from a virus that could have developed like that naturally and kind of jumping ahead of the curve by developing the vaccines early. The issue is a lot of other scientists were like, but you might fuck up and leak the thing, and then that thing is out and fucking, Pokemon's just raping and killing people.
Was there
What
that
do
much
you
of
know?
What do you know? It might have
Well,
happened.
here's the other part about that makes perfect sense is if you look back at the timelines, right? Can I say? I don't know if I can say.
If you have
The
to
first-
ask, that means no.
The first instance of when the reason they do gain of function research
Yes,
is to develop
the
certain
vaccines,
things.
yeah.
Okay, can I?
You can say that.
Okay, the first vaccines that came out very soon after, like within 2-3 months or something after it became like a big thing globally.
8 months.
It was like no, it wasn't 8 months.
It became global around
Maybe
Feb or March.
You're talking
and
about
then-
the adenovirus ones, right? Like from Sputnik and the Chinese one.
Yes,
Yeah.
that one specifically. That came out very early.
Yeah.
Like before Pfizer, before all of that.
Yeah.
And it was just the timeline is so short that it makes perfect sense that they were already kind of working on developing something for this ahead of time. Otherwise, it's too short.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like weirdly short.
Weirdly, yeah.
And perhaps in some
I mean, to
sense-
their credit, which I don't want to give any credit to what's happening, but
Okay.
with that point exactly, it's even when it comes to past stuff that happened, like in the 1920 with the Spanish flu, for example, and
Yeah.
other stuff in the 50s and 60s and all that. Times have changed. So before it would take like 5 years or 10 years to discover something, and then it would take like 3 years, and then 2 years, and then 1 year or whatever. So a lot of people came out and said that, given the technological advancement that we have, given that where we are, I mean, it makes sense for something to be done so fast. Plus, I mean, given the budget and given I never thought, by the way, I would be defending this, but just for the conversation, right, and to throw
Look what
other
I've made
ideas.
you do. Look
Exactly,
what
like,
I've
what the
made
hell,
you
man?
do.
When all
Yeah.
governments suddenly have a public enemy number one,
Yeah.
what happens
No,
is you
I
have
get
private
it.
sector ingenuity with public.
I mean, there's
sector
literally
funding.
nothing else that
and the
they've been working
floodgates
on.
open.
Sorry.
They're just like, oh shit,
well, they also-
here's 20 billion.
They did
Figure
something,
it out.
They did something else as well with the mRNA, which is it's the first time it's ever happened in a bureaucratic circle, which is they basically that when they did warp speed under Trump, they allowed for all of these checks that how you'd get the vaccine, create it, and then you'd have to go through these processes of approval, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
emergency
So-
use. Yeah.
All
Yeah,
of this,
exactly.
these processes, these border check lines or checkpoints that it has to go through, usually would get slowed down, bogged down with bureaucracy.
Yeah.
So what they do is they instead of doing it vertically, they kind of spread it all around, and they started working on every part of it at once. So that's the approvals, that's the logistics, that's the manufacturing, that's everything else that goes into making it.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like all developed around the same time instead of going that linear path, which makes it faster. Great. Amazing, like human ingenuity kind of kicking in and making something happen at that speed. I still think, even though, you're might have something there because China was ahead because that's mRNA, right? That's Pfizer, that's...
Right.
Yeah.
But that was a
China
viral
was just
vector.
the
That's
regular-
the old school.
Yes,
and that came
that's
out
true.
very
quickly.
I'm just saying.
And not just that, I mean, we all know about it started in November of 2019
Yeah.
when the first cases started
Yes.
appearing.
Well-
And you have, You have that
Well,
the
it was
doctor
like
who
December,
kind of discovered
I-
it,
I
and then
think-
December or
he
January.
suicided himself.
I think we might be onto something here because it wouldn't actually be that quickly.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it was actually quick. I'm saying it was weirdly quick from when it became global.
Well, you mean when they started admitting that it was
yes,
happening?
so they had knowledge of it and were working
Yes.
on it prior to. That's
So
what
when
I'm trying to
some
say.
people say-
so it was actually 6-8 months
because
from
the
November.
doctor himself,
Because-
he was going on their own social media platform, not the Facebook or
Yes.
Twitter, what they have,
Yeah.
and he was talking about it. Every time he would talk
WeChat
about
or
it,
WeChat.
it would get deleted, like
Yeah.
for about a couple of weeks, and then he was saying like there's something happening because people
Yeah.
are coming in with same symptoms and something that we haven't seen before, and then after a while he got it and he got sick
Well,
and he died.
yeah. That-
So I mean, again. With the points that connecting the dots and seeing how many coincidences
You go from-
have to
yeah,
happen
exactly.
for us to stop calling it a coincidence.
Exactly.
And we were talking about this, you and me, when, at the radio station,
Yeah.
I remember. And it was way early on. And we're saying, like, I mean, what are the odds for a level 4 virology
Yeah.
lab to exist in the same city where it happened?
And one of
right?
the main two, I think,
Yeah.
in the world that studies specifically
that studies,
coronaviruses.
SARS and COVID.
Specifically.
Like, that's what they study, and
We
then
study
it happened
coronaviruses,
in that the breakout happened in that city, and it's coming from a place where it's known for censorship,
Yeah.
it's known for hiding stuff like that.
And it happened the same way in
And
the
it-
first SARS as well.
But at the same time, I wanna touch point on what you were saying about why the narrative changed, or at least now the media is going back to the lab leak theory and everything.
Yeah.
And I do believe it's political, and I do believe that the media, had one, especially the liberal media, had one kind of goal. to
Hate Trump.
Hate Trump.
Yeah.
And
Fuck
because
Orange
Trump
Man.
was
Orange
kind
Man
of,
bad.
Yeah.
The
And-
Cheetos guy? Wait,
and because Trump was kind of like pushing that narrative
Yeah.
and they would go like, no, it's not happening. No, this
Yeah.
is not China. No, they had like the goal to go against Trump no matter what. And then when he was out of office and then Biden came in, suddenly we're like, well, maybe there's something there. Even though that idea was always floating around, even in the States, by the way, because I heard there was this. I think it was like a Congress meeting or something. I don't really know like who was talking, but he was saying that they don't have one patient zero, right? Like there is
Yeah.
no patient zero. And what they were saying that out of the 40 original ones that were contracted with COVID, the 40, around 14 of them were not in the wet market. Like they didn't even go to the wet market to even have access to a bat or whatever. And they said that the idea is that it could have entered the wet
From
market,
somewhere else,
and that's
yeah.
where it got, like the breakout happened, but that's not where it originated from.
Well, this is the thing that most of these specialists and virologists, including the head of the former head of the CDC, was saying about.
I wonder why he's former.
Exactly.
Yeah, because he was the current head when the start of the whole thing happened.
Talk too much
right?
about Taiwan.
And too much pandering. It's like I can't do more. That's enough. Orange Man's killing me. He was saying, including some other virologists, epidemiologists, and stuff. They were saying that it doesn't make sense that they haven't found the origin yet, because being able to track the jump between the animal to human, usually it leaves a lot of evidence. Like the jump isn't an easy jump.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
usually you find dead
it's not.
animals.
Animal viruses are different, so usually it's very clear. Yeah.
You will find traces of dead animals. You'll
Right,
find
right,
a
right,
lot
right.
of evidence of like it trying to jump.
Yes.
Right.
So the path to finding it is usually pretty quick. So it's within the first year. So with SARS and MERS, like I said before the
couple of
podcast,
months, wasn't it?
first 4 months. I'm not sure if it was for SARS or MERS. One of them. I'm wrong about my dates, but it's definitely 4 months and 7 months, if I'm not mistaken. And now it's been almost
year and a
fucking
half.
a year
And a half.
Yeah, a year and a half.
Yeah.
And still no pangolin, no bat, no Batman, no fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Not even a panda bear. Nobody's been fucking anything.
But I also don't think that eventually we're going to get an actual answer like, oh, yes, there was a lab leak, or no, it wasn't, or anything.
Okay, this is
Oh,
what
you wanna get to that
I wanted
later,
to. I
maybe?
wanted to ask about that now.
Yeah,
Which is
okay.
what do you guys think if like China has done better as far as being honest about it, not as fast, but better than the first time with SARS, which they completely covered up when it was happening, and everybody in the medical community like criticized them. They're like, if you don't talk about it early enough, if you do the saving face thing, we can't respond to this. We can't keep it in China. This time they didn't close the borders fast enough. They closed the flights in China, but left people going out. didn't talk about it properly in December and November, and
The
people
World
say,
Health Organization even said in Feb that there's no evidence that
Oh,
this
yeah.
is transmitted from man and no need to close the borders with China. I
there
remember
you
that
go.
tweet
Exactly.
was right there.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So they want to pretend it doesn't exist, but
Yeah.
it did happen. And you have all of that, like, it's better response, but still bad, right? Is there a chance, now that people know that American funding is involved in this, and it's not purely just China, is there a chance that China goes,
We're sorry.
maybe we're sorry, maybe just a little bit, maybe we fucked up, maybe we did something bad here, instead of going, well, the Americans are probably, this is literally what one of them said, they said, go investigate. They were saying, why don't you let us investigate in your viral labs? And they're like, do the Americans let us investigate in their labs? It's like,
I
pure-
mean,
I
what
mean-
on earth do you expect them to
Well,
say?
I mean, that's a very valid
in
point.
which universe is China gonna say,
Just
I'm
once.
sorry?
Just once.
Well, here's the
I
thing.
mean, in which
Just once,
imagine
China.
what's in those labs on both sides, both in America
100%.
and
Yeah.
Yes.
China.
It's
that
really
they
messed
really
up, to
don't
be
even want
honest.
like,
Gee,
it's very messed up.
Countries violate treaties all the fucking time.
But can I
So
say,
you-
man, listen.
Winnie.
I know,
Oh.
Winnie, bro. Taiwan fucked with you. All right, she left you. And you guys got it back. You're getting it. You're getting John
Taiwanese.
Cena, that white, beautiful, supple ass,
Oh my
right?
God.
He's yours now, G. But now you have an out. The orange man is not there to intimidate you. It's all sweet, subtle Biden, no quick movements, nothing.
He's
All
slow.
Wait, what is their
raspy.
out?
They have an out now where they can say, well,
America funded it.
America funded it.
And other countries too, by the way. It's not all America.
Yes.
But
See,
other countries
money,
funded
that's the thing. Money's just money, though. That doesn't mean that.
No, but
it
literally
was-
all the other countries had, they knew about it, they funded it, they just,
Well,
they
you
let
know
it,
how
much-
they wanted it here because they knew that we were okay with it.
is that when you're talking about hardcore, Asian saving face cultures, the best thing you can do to finally get through that is giving them their out. They're just looking for an out. Do you know what I mean? They're going to
That's true,
maintain.
because it's all about what are people going to say.
Exactly.
It really is.
But you're still considering, and that's where my conspiracy theory hat is gonna come on. You still think that, or you're talking in a way where, as if governments don't really know what happened or what's happening, and
Oh, no,
to
they
kind
know.
of tell you, like, to point in a different picture when it comes to this and China and why we will never ever know. It's because they have so much shit on each other. And they have so much, scandals and so much stuff that no one's gonna come out and actually with the book. See, look, China did this. I mean, if they do this, then there's gonna be a shitstorm of leaked information about what the U.S. did and what
Yeah,
what
but
Europe
this
did
is
and all
this is
that.
the reason I
If I can
say.
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say this is the reason why when we had our conversation about conspiracy theories, I said if there's too many vested interests, too many rivals that hate you already, you cannot bury a secret they want to embarrass you about. So Australia is never going to let this go. Never.
Well, you don't think Australia has any, secret hidden stuff?
Not this big.
In China, no.
Not this big, no.
Not
Not with
necessarily-
China.
But here's the thing.
No,
though.
so here's
What
the
would- what would
analogy I was
change?
trying to make.
What would change? I mean, really, China, the bombshell drops. Boom, China did it. Let's just say that they.
Well, if they get ahead of it, they can switch the narrative to, it's America that was funding it, and you have the perfect president to do the saving face with. Imagine if this bombshell drops and it was Trump.
True.
So
Can
this
you
is-
imagine that?
This is what I've been thinking this whole
there's
time.
Possibilities,
Yeah,
but
but
no one's going to go to war over.
But
it.
it's not
No,
like
but
the
here's-
U.S.
here's the
but-
analogy.
But just get ahead of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, sorry, go ahead.
I just want to analogize it culturally. I want to ground it for a more
Yeah, yeah.
relatable thing.
Yeah, go
It's
ahead.
genuinely, it's just like this.
Pokemon. Pokemon.
Third
is good.
Okay, that's not grounded enough or cultural enough or what in what
Pikachu.
world?
Really?
In what world?
Who the fuck doesn't know Pikachu?
No, it's like this. Seriously.
Yeah.
All my friends hit me up and say, your parents are out of town for the weekend. I'm like, yes. They're like, we're coming to your house and throwing a massive rager. All the babes are going to be there. All the booze are going to be there. All the bongs are going to be ripped.
Mike D party.
I'm like,
Right.
down.
Yeah.
We're doing it. Okay? They come over. They all doing it. And then they leave. And then my parents come home earlier than I expected. I haven't cleaned anything up. And now there's booze everywhere. There's bong everywhere. And there's some thongs and bikinis on the floor.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Basically, in this situation, what you're saying is, first, they're only mad at me, of course, because how dare I? But my out is, I can just say, I'm so sorry. I know I disappointed you. I let you down. But Khaled, brother, My other friend Mike, he's the one that brought all the bombs.
That's
and I didn't even know
That's
girls were
fucking
coming.
it.
I didn't
That's
even know
fucking
girls
it.
were coming, and it's as simple as being like, okay, I know you're disappointed in me, but I'm not as bad as you think. So like, the only thing Mike's saying is the wrench in it is basically, do they really care? Like, if I didn't care what my parents thought, I wouldn't even. I'd just be like,
Well,
yeah.
I don't.
You
to be honest,
hold up. They're losing road and belt initiatives over this.
But that's
Before
the
this.
thing. That's the thing. They
They're
actually
losing.
they have to care.
They
Yeah, I
have
mean,
to
there's
care.
some
Otherwise, they
economic
wouldn't make John
impacts.
Cena apologize.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Everybody's gonna shut up about John Cena, and well, they're not really. Like they're
I mean,
actually
why are we-
talking.
But
They
why
are.
are
For
we
the first
talking
time-
about,
They
but
are.
why are we talking about John Cena as if it's the first time that something happens
Well,
in China?
because
I mean,
they-
a couple of years ago. No, actually, not even a couple of years ago. But Disney was like in the hot seat when
Yeah.
they did Mulan.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh,
Because they filmed
you're
on
promote-
Uyghur camp land.
exactly,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you're
yeah.
promoting, freedom
Yeah.
of whatever, and you're doing that shit. It's a very normal
You have
thing.
to
I mean,
understand though, but those topics were specifically culturally right in the U.S. This is now culturally left. Do you understand what I'm saying? Biden is talking about this. People that are not considered crazy crackpots, that are only right-minded or
Yes.
Trumpists are talking about
That is a difference.
the shift to China. Like I saw the Fareed Zakaria one that I linked. You remember the one before? He was talking breakdown about China. Well, if you didn't watch it, you're a dick. But he was talking about basically approval ratings of China, and globally, it's people disapprove about China at a higher rate than ever before. And it's not just because of the lab leak; it's because of this wolf warrior diplomacy,
Do you
this
think-
idea.
do
But
you
this
think
actually
it's
matters to China
possible
now.
Do you think it's possible that any corporation, and I mean, this is not a conspiracy, but we
Yeah.
know corporations run America, right? So do you think they will accept any kind of like beef with China? I mean, do you not understand the billions and the trillions of dollars that they're
That
going to lose?
is a conflict of interest that
no,
we're
Yeah, but the way I see it, it's more this is like playing the public and keep them distracted, and so that no one knows what the fuck is going on.
But this is
I
the
mean,
thing. You
that's
say
the-
it's impossible, but it's not the case. It is never impossible.
I
It's-
actually think
sorry, go ahead.
No.
I was going to say that you think that corporations only ever follow the money, but they're relying on attention span going away for that to happen. This is not going to go away
because COVID is still a thing because it did not go away.
That's
Give
one.
it 5 years from now, and no one's going to talk
But
about.
that-
Are people still talking about
Those
like
5
how
years
George
are
Bush invaded
killing it.
Iraq?
This
and
is the
because
thing.
of
You
WMDs?
think that the conversation only happens for the rest of us, but the conversation about China was happening for a very long time before COVID, and it was constantly under attack in Australia. Australia hates China. They fucking talk about them all the time. Japan does it. South Korea does it. Why do you think they're so sensitive about all this kind of stuff? Because they want people to stop talking. And the old policy in China was kind of like the Saudi one. Don't talk about us. But whenever they started doing this wolf warrior shit, which is like, I'm going to crack down openly because I own your ass. I'm going to do this to the NBA and you can't do anything.
Oh my God.
When they do stuff like that, corporations are now faced with this difficult situation. They're like, do I care about the China market so much that I'm willing to lose my local market?
I'm not just talking about the China market. I'm also talking about the
Factories,
sweatshops and the
factories.
factories and how much profit they
Dude,
make out of
there are a lot of
Yeah.
companies that are
Why do you
relocating.
think India is saying fuck China?
Yes.
Why do you think
Now
that's
you get it.
happening?
No. Like actually though, like
That's
actually,
what's happening.
and then
It will go to India.
there are a lot of companies. Trump
Pakistan,
started this, and
lest we forget.
people were saying that it was like racism, right? When he
Yeah.
was trying to get factories away from China and from Mexico. He's trying to bring factories back into the U.S.
Yeah.
Right. But I think that's actually an initiative that is now gaining steam without it seeming racist. Because Trump's not doing it anymore,
Yeah.
right? I don't know, dude. It's
Oh yeah, I'm with you on this.
the guy had flaws, so we'll leave it at that. So, but I actually do think that corporations have feasible
Options.
What the term is for a 5-year plan is like a strategic plan, right?
Yeah.
For actually exiting like corporate and financial and like actual supply chain interests within China. There are ways. And I do think they're exploring them quite seriously.
Okay, so that would mean that, for example, now they're looking into that, which is why it's okay to talk badly about China in the media.
No, because
and
you have
then
the other thing.
Once the people are, hate China enough and all that, then they'll be like, oh,
I'm
by
sorry,
the way,
we all have to stop.
Khaled's had enough.
We sent Khaled to the bathroom. Like he's that worried about what's happening that he got diarrhea from the tension of
Khaled, don't, it's okay.
no, no, but like
Hello,
like,
Xi Jinping? Yes. You
It's
want me to
an-
say what? Okay. Yes,
see
dear leader.
the thing I think for a lot of the countries now, Australia, U.S. and why the U.S. has been pressuring the EU to upgrade from being just a systemic rival to becoming actually like an adversary, all this weird like double speak, is because they recognize that China's plan has been so like effective in establishing financial global dominance to where all of these countries are in debt. Pretty much the whole world is in serious debt to China.
True. Yes.
Right? Yeah. And China has its paws, its sticky honey covered Pooh Bear paws all over the world, like from Pakistan to India to everywhere, right? Like they have interests everywhere where people owe them things. And so it's in these governments, both it's in the corporation's interest, but it's also in the government's political interest to find ways to extricate themselves from that, because they cannot allow China to become the global superpower based off what? Not just, it's not even military, it's literally financially based. We own you because of riba.
Don't forget, you might be the powerhouse right now, right? If you lose your Belt and Road initiatives and you lose the ability to, because what they want to do with Karachi is basically subvert Dubai as a port city.
Yep.
Yeah? They want to do that. Yeah. If you lose that ability because your line is falling apart. And so much. And if you lose that ability and you don't have the best logistics plan, and then Russia's like taking the North Arctic Circle as a better logistics route than anybody else, and somebody fucks with you by blocking the fucking canal or something, maybe that was
oh no, I'm stuck.
Senpai stepbrother,
help me, step ship. Oh, step ship, I'm stuck.
So let's say that's the context, right? That's the setting that's happening. And you have all these smaller countries that are not China, but they have a reputation of producing stuff like Sri Lanka, India, cheap products. They're not moving it back to the U.S. There's no fucking way they're moving it all back to the U.S. But these other countries are so thirsty to steal it from China, like get the factories over. Yeah. So if you're not careful as China, you're gonna slowly lose these. Don't forget.
Yeah, I get it. I mean,
tech companies don't like them because they steal their patents. They have a lot of enemies. Yeah. They have a lot of enemies, dude. Powerful
then that
enemies.
would make me doubt. I mean, if that's the actual narrative, that would make me doubt the lab leak theory. Because if they're now pushing that, that means that's not true anymore. That's how I see it. Because it's like every time they want to push a certain narrative, when you see the gain from it, like, oh, this is not just for the sake of humanity and knowing what actually happened to the world. No, it's like, oh, so let's move our assets away. Let's make China look bad. Then we're like, oh, so then maybe it's not actually. That's how I see it.
I think the card for corporate pandering is going to hit a limit. I think it already did, because the average person is so aware of it now. Like I feel like 5 years ago, dude, they are. Trust me. When WWE fans talk about politics, it's a big thing. It's a big thing.
If it reaches the fans,
oh my god!
All I know
is
that if Stone Cold cannot crack beers and yell 316 out loud. Fuck China. That's all I'm saying.
Amen.
All right, that is the wrap up for the pandering hour here.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Really? On that note?
I was gonna give I wasn't gonna give it to you, but you took it. So enjoy that last word on the topic with China, pandering, and corporate pandering as a whole. We talked about everything we said we were going to talk about. We are definitely going to the chat right now. We don't have a lot of time left, guys. So if you have any interesting questions, let us know right now. We're going to answer them. If you have anything personal as well you want to ask us, go feel free with plugging away on that chat. Abdullah also says hashtag Hong Kong dong stay strong. 2.5 mil.
Big facts.
Mewtwo.
Abdullah would take 2.5 mil, Sergio. See, at least he has his ethics are more valuable.
That is true.
Is that Jalahama? Classic.
No, it's not.
Oh wait, who is it then?
I don't think we're seeing any questions in the chat. Last chance for you guys to get it, guys. If you want to, we're gonna take one question at least. If we're not gonna get it, we're signing off.
They're all in Taiwan.
For all of Taiwan that cares about it.
Actually, Khaled, they actually asked lots of questions, but literally China deleted all of them.
Yes,
so,
that's
Matruk is right. China deletes everything. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
50-cent army, bro. The 50-cent fucking army.
50-cent army. That just makes me think of just like Young Thugs. Just being like, get rich or die trying.
I love
you can find me in the chat. Fingers on the keyboard.
COVID 50 cents. I love getting shots 9 times.
All right.
Oh.
Thank you guys.
No
It doesn't seem like you guys have any questions for us, so that's going to be the wrap up for the day. I'm reminding you guys, please subscribe, share, comment, and hit the like button, because until we get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, it's going to give us hell when it comes to recommendations. So please help us out. Share with anybody you can. Makes a huge difference in the world. And you get to be cool. You get to be here before anybody else does. All right, this has been the Bedouin Banter podcast, where it matters the most. We don't know what it is. We'll figure it out as we go through these episodes. Make sure to stay tuned for some future episodes as well, where we're going to have hopefully some of the guests we wanted to have before, Tom Romansky and Ron Aradi. We are currently going through heavy lockdown in Bahrain, but once it eases up, we're going to be doing more of those, and plus more of these live streams. If you have recommendations for the show, you want to recommend a guest, you want to be on the show, let me know as well. Get in touch with bedouinbanter@gmail.com. And also, guys, you want to plug anything? Anything happening? Your Instagrams, maybe personal stuff going on? Sergio, I know you are definitely the host of the Paradigm Shift podcast.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about an upcoming episode maybe or something?
No, just search for the Paradigm Shift with Sergio Halabi on all the podcast channels, and I'm there. And you can also find me on my Instagram, paradigm.shift.experience, where I talk about the podcast and other stuff as well.
Are you on Spotify?
I am on Spotify.
Nice.
All right, Mike. Why don't you plug what's the Navy's next naval route? Can you please tell us what's
Stop.
Yeah,
Our viewers in Pakistan just went up.
I'm kidding. He would never.
I work for the feds. Everything I've said is my own opinion. I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. But yeah, if you want to catch up with my shenanigans and Arab fetishism at Dyke Monovid, have a good time.
He actually admitted it today.
You know how there's a Sinophile? What would you call an Arab file?
file.
Is it an Arab file?
Khalid
You
file.
just made it up. So
Khalid file.
Hudayfa, what do you got? Anything going on?
Enophile.
Anything you want to share? Instagram, maybe Twitch, maybe something you stream?
Only fans.
Yeah, no, I just want to throw out there. I'm not actually
Third
Kim
gender.
Kardashian. That's about it. I have nothing. Just do yourselves a Yarny. I don't know.
All
Just
right, that's it then.
I have literally nothing to plug, man. I'm not an interesting person. I'm sorry.
Do yourself a yachty. That's what I'm talking about. Yachty or
It's
Laurel? I don't know.
pandemic times, guys. Nobody has a job, okay? We're just bums here.
We're
We're relying. Wow. We're relying completely on your charity and your donations. If you want to help out, let us know. My name is Khaled Dossy. I'm your host. You can find me on Instagram at kdossy, KDOSSY. That is KDOSSY. Also follow Bedouin Banter on YouTube, on Twitch. No, not on Twitch. We're not on Twitch. Maybe one day. I don't know. You fucking don't like us. All Instagram as well, Bedouin Banter, and also bedouinbanter.com for all the streams and the platform experiences. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been the podcast that matters the most, and it's our episode on pandering. Go ahead, pander away.
Woo!
Let people know.
Szechuan
Bye.
sauce. I love it.
Bye.
Bye.
bye.